Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Kushina comes back to Konoha to get Naruto part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. I beat him, Naruto thought, proud yet exhausted. Sasuke, you're coming back home. Sakura, I hope he makes you happy. As eager as his mind was to leave the Valley of the End after his big fight and triumphant victory over Sasuke, Naruto's body just did not want to comply. His legs gave up and he fell to his knees. Come on, stand up. You've got to go home. He fell forward, his hand stopping him from collapsing completely. He was breathing deeply and his vision was getting blurry, not to mention he was lightheaded from the loss of blood from his Chidori wounds. Unknown to Naruto, he was being watched by 3 sets of eyes. Whoa, after all that he still has the energy to avoid passing out right away? Maybe it's time to take him to the next level. Oh my Kami, he did it. He nearly died, but all by himself he managed to stop that jerk. Naruto, I know you even less than I gave you credit for. Naruto-kun, you're so amazing. Before any of the watchers made a move, someone else did. That someone was Sasuke himself, returned to his normal form, but his expression was that of a sadistic maniac who hated to lose. Basically, just himself but out for blood. He rose slowly, as if his muscles wanting to go on strike, but he didn't care, and got up to his own knees as well. You don't know when to give up, do you, team? Naruto asked, wheezing but trying to get back on his own feet as well. Shut up. I will never lose to some talentless, Sasuke tried to say, thinking up the meanest possible insult he could for his former teammate, but lacking the strength to talk much. These two can't go on any longer. Before one of them actually dies, I better stop them, one of the watchers told themselves. Before they could act, Naruto stiffened and started to glow. But he didn't glow red like before, no, this time he glowed orange. Everyone stopped moving, even Sasuke, wondering what was going on. What the heck is happening to me? Kyuubi, is this you? Naruto asked himself, not sure if he was saying it out loud or not. My son. Is that you? A woman's voice called out to him. What? Who are you? He asked back. Naruto could see nothing around himself except for orange light. In front of him a dark figure began to appear, just a blotchy silhouette, but he could tell it was a person. Little by little it came into focus more, and soon it started to look like a woman. More detail came, giving her long red hair, violet eyes, and a purple dress with a green shirt underneath it. Naruto didn't recognize her at all, but he could sense she was powerful but not here to fight him. When she saw him, she looked like she didn't know whether to smile, cry, or gasp. Naruto? Is that really you? Yeah, I'm Naruto. How do you know me? She answered by hugging him, much to his surprise. You look just like your father, sweetie. The blonde boy was too surprised by this to object, but he did say the first thing that came to mind. You still haven't told me who you are. I'm sorry, she said, pulling away from him. It's just that I haven't seen you in so long, and for the past few years all I wanted was to see you again. Now that I can, I just wanted to hold you, she explained, her warm smile and gaze never leaving her face. But she saw Naruto still wanted his answer. But before I ramble any further, my name is Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze, your birth mother. Naruto dropped his jaw and widened his eyes. My mother? He asked in disbelief. This can't be real. This has got to be a dream. Kushina lightly hit the top of his head. Does that feel like a dream, Tebane? Naruto rubbed his slightly sore spot on his scalp. Why did you do that? Wouldn't a pinch have worked just as well? True, but I doubt you would have let me do that, so I had to try something harder to avoid. I'm sorry, son. Naruto looked okay but still confused. Where have you been? Why are you just showing up now? And where did everything and Sasuke team go? In order, I've been trapped in another kingdom for the past few years. I'm showing up now because now is the first chance in too long a time for me to see me again. I truly wanted to be here sooner, in fact I never wanted to leave you, but someone was a bitch and stopped me all these years. She sounded like she wanted to kill someone just as badly as Sasuke wanted to kill his brother. And we're actually speaking in your mind right now, so that's why you can't see anything else. I'd say outside here only a couple of seconds have actually passed. So technically you're not really here? Naruto asked. Kushina sadly nodded. No, this is a sort of astral project to allow me to find you. Very soon though my real self will come to you directly. I just wanted to know where to go once I'm back in Midgard. Midgard? I'll explain more later. Just stay where you are and I'll come to you as soon as possible, son. Remember, I still love you and I never stopped. You're what's been keeping me going all this time. Right now, the vision started to fade away. Wait. Mom, don't go! Naruto shouted, extending his hand out. She took it gently as if to reassure him she could come for him, but she faded away completely. Back out in the real world, the glow faded and Naruto collapsed like a puppet without strings. Well, that was weird, Sasuke commented. He eyed a stray kunai left during the battle and picked it up. I guess I'd better kill him before he does that or that weird red thing either. All of a sudden, 3 figures came out of hiding and landed not that far from the traitorous Uchiha. He immediately recognized 2 of them, but the third was someone he never bothered to notice. Drop the kunai, Sasuke. You're coming home with us. Kakashi, both eyes visible, told his once favored student. He then briefly glanced at the 2 others without losing his focus on Sasuke. Girls, what are you 2 doing here? Hokage-sama told me and Hinata to follow you, in case you decided to ignore your mission and follow these 2. Sakura answered and Hinata nodded, her angry Byakugan-enhanced glare focused on Sasuke, who had yet to lose his weapon. She was apparently right to worry you would act this way. If you interfere, I'm going to kill you all too, Sasuke warned. Sakura glared at him. Give it up, Sasuke. You're outnumbered and worn out from fighting Naruto. Even you must realize the odds are against you. Sasuke was mad they were calling his bluff. He figured he could easily get rid of Sakura, maybe struggle to beat the Hyuga but still beat her, but there was no way he could defeat Kakashi in this state. No matter how he looked at it, he had lost. Angry at such a circumstance, the young Sharingan user tightened his grip on his kunai. At least I can kill the dobe and prove I'm still stronger than him. Moving as quick as he can, which wasn't as fast as he would have preferred, Sasuke tried to drive the kunai into Naruto's neck for his token victory. Before he could get close, he saw out of the corner of his eyes Kakashi create a Raikiri, no doubt to use on him. Thinking quickly and using some of the last bits of chakra he had, Sasuke waited until the moment Kakashi lunged at him, and did a Kawarimi. Kakashi, Sakura, and Hinata were horrified to see Sasuke made Naruto take his place for the attack, resulting in Naruto getting another life-threatening wound. Maybe one too many for even the Kyuubi to help heal. By substituting with Naruto, Sasuke ended up putting himself on the ground and tried to get back up. However, he was stopped by a very unexpected obstacle, Sakura's fist to his head, followed by Hinata's Juken. Kakashi ignored the 2 angry girls in favor of trying to keep Naruto alive. The way he saw it, nothing short of a miracle could save Naruto right now, but he had to try. As he tried using what little medical jutsu he had copied in his life, Kakashi toys 2 things at work on Naruto's injuries. The first was red chakra, obviously from the Kyuubi, trying to stop Naruto from bleeding to death and repair the cellular damage, and a strange orange chakra working on the wounds too, as if reinforcing the red chakra. I don't understand this, but if it increases Naruto's odds of living by even 1%, I won't stop it. The cycloptic Jounin thought as he continued to help in his own way. Meanwhile, Sakura and Hinata looked like they were trying to bring Sasuke closer to death instead. They stopped after he stopped resisting, allowing them to see he was unconscious. Both girls panted heavily, their adrenaline rush wearing off. Sakura smiled at Hinata. Not bad, Hinata. I just hope Naruto being in danger is the only thing that can get you this driven in a fight. Thank you, Sakura-san, the shy girl replied. And if you don't mind my asking, why exactly were you attacking Sasuke-san too? I thought you were so fond of him. The pinkette looked upset and lost eye contact with the Hyuga heiress. I'll tell you later. It's a long story and we need to get Naruto and Sasuke back. She then came up to her sensei with Hinata following. Kakashi-sensei, is Naruto okay? I'm not sure, but he's healing. Someone up there must like him. Hinata leaned down and gently kissed Naruto, much to the surprise of the others. He's still warm and returned it, so he's going to be fine, she said happily with tears in her eyes. Looks like I'm not the only one with a long story to tell, huh, Hinata? Sakura commented with a friendly tone, causing Hinata to blush. Not now, girls. We need to take these 2 home before Naruto gets worse, Kakashi said as he created a clone to pick up Sasuke while he picked up Naruto. The girls nodded, and soon everyone headed back to Konoha. Far away from the Valley of the End, there was a gigantic tree surrounded by many big ones, but they looked puny by comparison. There was something unusual about this tree, but it was something no one could put their finger on. It was almost unworldly, something monks would call divine and ninja would call a chakra anomaly. This tree felt like it had its own chakra system, a biological impossibility since chakra was only created by animals and people. And if that wasn't odd enough, the chakra from the tree did not feel like ordinary chakra. It was an unclassified type. For this reason, everyone agreed to leave this strange tree alone. No one was anywhere near the tree right now, which was a good thing. Because right then some of the bark began to move like some sort of sheet. Soon a hole was revealed, a black gap so dark nothing could be seen inside it. But a moment later there were a few small lights like stars glowing, and a hand came out, followed by a head then the rest of a body. "I'm back," Kushina said as the hole behind her closed. "How long has it been?" Naruto was only supposed to be 6 years old. Not old enough to be a genin. "What happened? Damn that woman for making me take so long to get back to this realm. And damn her for taking me from it in the first place." She sighed and shook her head. "That's not important. I need to see my baby now, even if he's not a baby anymore. He needs to know who and what he is, and will be. Before not knowing kills him." Without saying another word, Kushina was immediately on the move. After running as fast as they could with 2 unconscious tagalongs, Kakashi, Sakura, and Hinata finally made it back to Konoha. A few other search parties had already gone out to locate the other members of Shikamaru's team and brought them back, making this group the last to return. Chuji and Niji were in the worst condition, with Tsunade herself overseeing Chuji's treatment, and Shizen overseeing Niji's. Kiba and Lee both needed to stay in the hospital 1 night, maybe 2, to recuperate, and Shikamaru's finger injury was already treated enough that he was only still the hospital by choice now, since he was waiting to hear how his friends were. Because of this, the staff was stretched a bit when Kakashi came to the hospital, but he got a hold of an unprejudiced doctor who would stabilize Naruto before he got worse. Kakashi, Sakura, and Hinata refused to leave the room until they got a sign that Naruto was in the clear or not. Kakashi's clone took Sasuke to the prison hospital, since they would be the best at ensuring he didn't get out anytime soon under his own power. The clone even left orders to keep him locked up until Kakashi or Tsunade said otherwise and to disregard any orders from anyone else. Naruto was bandaged, stitched, connected to tubes and machines, and unconscious, but by some unfathomable reason, he was still alive and even breathing under his own power. Well, he should be in the clear now. All that's left to do is keep him nourished and on painkillers, and wait until he wakes up. He'll probably feel like hell, but at least he'll be alive. The doctor told the others. "Thank you, doctor. I hope you don't mind us waiting here for him to wake up," Kakashi replied. "No problem. Now I think I've earned a coffee break. Bye," the doctor said before leaving. The 3 shinobi turned to Naruto, as if they thought he would open his eyes any second now. So far that was not happening. An hour later Tsunade had a free moment and decided to go check on Naruto, whom one of the nurses informed her was brought in and stabilized but showed no activity. When she got to the room, she saw Kakashi, Sakura, and Hinata sitting around keeping an eye on Naruto, each with a drink in their hands. "Please tell me how Naruto is," she started. "By all facts he should be dead, but somehow is still alive," Kakashi answered. "I don't understand it, but I am certainly glad it's true." Tsunade's eyes widened, and she immediately began a diagnostic skinjutsu over the blonde boy. "His pulse is steady, he has some broken bones that are mending, some torn muscles that are doing the same." She paused, looking like she was now seeing something rather unpleasant. "Signs of damage to internal organs? Missing epidermis on multiple areas on the torso but lower layers of skin growing in? Low blood pressure? What happened to him? Did someone drive a pike through his chest?" "Not exactly a pike, but yes," Kakashi regretfully admitted. "And it was done 3 times. 3 times? Tsunade shouted, causing Sakura and Hinata to jump back. Kakashi sadly nodded, unable to make eye contact. "Sasuke used the Chidori technique, something I regret teaching him, on Naruto twice, and he tricked me into striking him a 3rd time." Tsunade had never seen the technique, but on her trip back to Konoha Naruto had described it to her as a lightning sword his sensei used for close-range kills. He sounded like he hoped to learn it once they got back to Konoha. "Tell me where the bastard is so I can punish him accordingly." If you had any doubt what exactly she had in mind. "He's in the prison hospital right now with the caretakers. They're ordered to place him in a cell once he's stable," Kakashi answered. "You should know, Hokage-sama, I saw a strange chakra at work in Naruto's wounds, and I don't mean the chakra you're thinking of. This was a completely different one." Tsunade was instantly alerted, and glanced over towards Sakura and Hinata. "Could you two please leave the room for a moment? This is going to be a classified talk." The girls nodded and left the room. Tsunade looked back at the one-eyed jounin. "Continue." Evening came and Tsunade was worn out. The last thing she wanted to deal with was an emergency council meeting that she didn't even order. In fact, she was strongly tempted to use her Hokage authority to call it off and tell them all to wait a night on whatever it was they wanted to yammer on about. There was only one thing that made her want to go now in the first place. The summons note, which read Tsunade sends you, you are hereby ordered to attend a council meeting at 6 p.m. tonight and drop whatever previously scheduled distractions you may have at said time. Failure to comply is not an option and will result in penalization. Tsunade was pissed and offended to read that. To think someone had the audacity to actually order her around as a subordinate, and not even leave a name for themselves. Whoever sent this needed to be taken off their high horse and have said horse shot, and that alone was why Tsunade was going in the first place. She got there and saw everyone else was there too and talking in a heated debate. Hayashi, Shikaku, Tsum, and Chusa looked like she felt irritated and wishing they were anywhere else, preferably with those who were still in treatment. Some of the other members on both sides looked irritated too, like they agreed that this could have waited another day. One of the civilians saw the slug Sannin approach. Hokage-sama, is it true that the fox has already endangered the lives of several of our shinobi? Tsunade sent out so much killing intent right then it almost felt like she was trying to summon the Manda equivalent of the slugs. Listen good everyone, I am not in a good mood right now. I do not appreciate being interrupted when I'm working to save people's lives. I do not appreciate people ordering me, the Hokage, around like they outrank me and demanding I attend meetings that I did not call. And I do not appreciate those meetings starting before I even show up. She paused to glare at each and every person there. Now, first thing first, who here thinks they can demand I show up here or get punished if I refused? No one answered, prompting Tsunade to cross her arms. That oh so kindly worded request didn't write itself, people. Answer me now. Still no one answered. Fine. Since no one here has got the balls to admit it, give me one damn good reason why I shouldn't declare this meeting adjourned. Summoning up their courage, Hamura spoke first after clearing his throat. Hokage-sama, not to make light of the grave insult to your authority, but there is a subject being discussed already that you should help settle. He paused until he was certain he had her attention. It has come to our attention that the mission to retrieve Sasuke Uchiha from the clutches of Orochimaru was a success, but there is question regarding if Naruto Uzumaki went too far to ensure success here. Some of the civilians looked like they wanted to shout out derogatory comments about Naruto, but held their tongues since Tsunade was already ready to beat the crap out of someone who crossed her. A wise choice, since her next choice of words were quite angry. How exactly did this come to your attention? We asked our friends in the Umbu about why 4 genin, 1 chunin, and a couple of jounin were sent out of the village all of a sudden. Koharu answered. Tsunade frowned. Umbu reports are confidential and not meant to be open access to anyone who happens to ask. We heard that the demon brat took the last Uchiha out of Konoha to kill him and pretended to be part of the search party to avoid suspicions. Is that true, Hokage-sama? Another civilian asked, changing the subject. Tsunade glared. Let me guess, you're either assuming that, or you heard that from someone you know full well hates Naruto. Doesn't anyone here actually want to hear the truth, or does everyone just want to speculate and rant anti-Naruto propaganda? No one answered, but everyone did look curious about the details of the mission. Tsunade, still irritated, decided to get this over with. Now, since everyone's so damn curious, here's the real facts about what just happened. Now, during a strange breach of security, 4 Jounin-level shinobi from Orochimaru's forces came to Sasuke Uchiha and convinced him to go with them to Orochimaru's side. Once I learned of this, I sent out a team of Jounin ninja to intercept them, but also requested Chunin Shikamaru Nara to assemble a second team to stop Orochimaru's men and bring the Uchiha back. Today I learned they succeeded in their objective, but several of those involved are undergoing major medical care to stabilize them, so we cannot currently gain more details on what happened on the field. So the Uzumaki boy is not to blame for all this? One of the more sensible civilians asked. She was a middle-aged brunette wearing a yellow shirt. The civilian next to her, an older man with a pot belly and black hair, looked at her angrily. You're an idiot if you believe that, Shinju. Can you really believe that 4 enemy ninja got in and out of the village without being noticed, and got taken down one by mere genin, and that the last Uchiha would desert the village his ancestors helped to create? She glared back at him. It makes more sense than the Uzumaki boy betraying us now by after fighting for us during the invasion rather than against us, or that the Uchiha would leave the village simply because one person annoyed him. If you all admit he's petty enough to leave the village because he can't stand being one-upped, then why do you respect him so much? Sasuke Uchiha is not petty. He was abducted. A different civilian shouted. Then why are people accusing Naruto of being responsible if you admit that? Shikaku asked. Koharu was the one to answer. We found out that Sasuke is now at the prison hospital. Clearly he was unfairly attacked, and Shikamaru says Naruto was the one to go after him personally after the others in the group were occupied elsewhere. Are you unaware that Naruto himself is in the hospital too? And suffered 3 direct Chidori hits? A move known only to Kakashi Hatake and Sasuke Uchiha? Tsunade asked. Why is he not dead yet? One of the civilians asked. He should be executed for endangering the Uchiha like this. There were a few murmurs of agreement, but before it could grow into a large cry for Naruto's death, Tsunade slammed her hand again. Where the hell do you get off making such a demand? By all accounts, you're punishing him for doing his job. His job was to bring Sasuke back, not to endanger him, Koharu countered. Tsunade glared at the older woman. Sasuke had no restraints against endangering Naruto. So was Naruto not allowed to defend himself or subdue Sasuke with force if he refused to comply? Some snarled at the civilians trying to come up with an excuse to justify the situation the way they wanted to see it as. Enough, you idiots. If Sasuke actually wanted to come back like you think, then why didn't he fight back against the Oto-nin? You all claim he's the best in his age group, yet nothing was done until we sent out other genin to do something about it. So you have to admit Sasuke's either not as strong than you give him credit for, or he was trying to get away with him. Even so, Naruto Uzumaki must still be punished for what he did, one of the more stubborn civilians stated. Tsunade was even madder now. That is not the point, and I think you all are deliberately missing that to avoid the real issue here. On what grounds do you have to justify such a course of action? We need to make it clear to the boy that we will not tolerate him using the fox's power to endanger our more prominent shinobi. The same civilian replied. Tsunade arched an eyebrow. And what gives you reason to believe Naruto used any of the fox's chakra in the first place? How else could he survive having 3 terrible wounds when one alone is enough to kill? The sand-using boy from Suna survived one, and we all know he's a monster, so how else do you justify the QB brat still breathing? Why isn't someone killing him right now so we can be done with the son of a bitch once and for all? A different civilian bitterly asked. Tsunade punched the wall, creating a large crater. First of all, Naruto will not be punished for doing his job, which was to bring Sasuke Uchiha back by any means necessary. Punishing him for that will accomplish nothing other than creating hostility in all the ninja, who will fear what they may have to endure if they succeed or fail their own missions. Second of all, Shikamaru Nara was the one in charge of the team and gave Naruto the order to go after Sasuke solo while he and all the other members were otherwise unable to continue on their objective. That does not deserve punishment, but if you're so damn convinced it does, then Shikamaru Nara deserves punishment too, since as team leader he is responsible for what the team does. She cast Shikaku a glance to show she didn't agree with this but needed to get the point across. The Nara head understood completely. Danza surprised everyone by being the next to speak. Hokage-sama is completely right. Naruto Uzumaki should be reminded to better control himself, and maybe some measures should be taken to help ensure that, but downright punishing him will cause more trouble than good. That shut the civilians up. Danza had always been sympathetic to their needs and concerns, but if he refused to take their side they lost a big factor in getting the results they wanted. He in fact was one of the biggest reasons they never got any ninja to actually kill Naruto, since he needed Naruto alive in order to use him. Tsunade looked relieved. Good, now that that's settled, Sasuke Uchiha does deserve punishment as he was not under orders and acted against the village. Whether you believe he left voluntarily or not, he was close to being acquired by Orochimaru and thus having the Sharingan used against Konoha. It's likely that the snake will send more for him, so Sasuke needs to be kept out of sight to prevent anyone from taking him, or him being able to leave a second time. The shinobi all saw the wisdom in that while the civilians found it hard to argue that. I will determine Sasuke's punishment after hearing from the retrieval team to get all the facts in. If anyone tries acting before I declare anything official on anyone involved, they will be imprisoned for the rest of their life without bail or parole. No exceptions. Now, unless there's anything else on the agenda, I'm going to end this. Tsunade continued. No one said anything? Good. Now go home, people. Kushina arrived at the Valley of the End. Naruto's been moved, she said, not seeing him anywhere nearby or even detecting any traces of him other than his blood on the ground. Someone was here and took him away. Probably back to Konoha. I guess I better go there. Damn, it'll take me till noon tomorrow at least to get there. Still eager to see her son as soon as possible, she headed in the direction Konoha was. After a few minutes, she had to stop. What's this? You wish to see me? A male voice asked, his face hidden from view by a mask and most of his upper body obscured by shadows. All that could be clearly seen of him were his black pants and blue open-toed shinobi boots. Yes. To put it simple, we want Tsunade out of office now. One of the 3 people meeting this hidden man said. She is not doing her duties properly, and is turning blind eyes to the real threats while calling others threats instead. A second person added. And if that wasn't bad enough, she's trying to give the shinobi ideas that they don't have to work for the civilians, but rather we must submit to them. The nerve of her. The shinobi are here to be our servants, not the other way around. The third voice stated. You are aware that I'm a shinobi, right? The hidden man replied. Why should I do as you ask and turn against the strongest one in the village just because some cowards are afraid of her? His tone clearly showed he wasn't against the idea, but he was going to require some incentive before he did as asked. The first voice sighed. Every shinobi is a mercenary, meaning pay the right price and they'll do anything. They held out a bag full of real coins and bills, easily full with 2 years' pay for a jounin. The hidden man took the sack and checked to ensure it wasn't a fake bribe created by a genjutsu. Such a thing was not uncommon in underhanded situations such as this. I think I can work something out. Though be aware that I will not be able to act until tomorrow. An operation such as this requires careful strategy, not impulse, and more manpower than I alone can provide. The second person nodded. Do what you must. Just ensure Tsunade is out of the picture, and the Kyuubi brat is in hell where he belongs. We will take care of the rest. Late at night, Naruto finally opened his eyes. Where am I? He quietly asked as he rubbed the sleep out of his eyes, not fully aware of his surroundings. Glad to see you're awake, Naruto. Kakashi's voice was heard. Kakashi-sensei? Naruto asked, his sight coming into focus. He saw he was in a hospital room resting on a bed with N4 attached to his right arm, and apparently something covering his right eye completely. Kakashi was seated beside him reading a book under a lamp, and strangely enough, Sakura and Hinata were seated in 2 guest chairs alongside the wall. They looked like they had been asleep but were now waking up from the noise. Try not to move too much, Naruto. You don't want to open your wounds, especially those types. Kakashi told him, then looked remorseful. I'm terribly sorry about adding to them. I never thought that Sasuke would do such a horrendous thing. What did he do? Naruto asked. He doesn't remember? The shock and the passing out must have made him forget. The jounin thought. Before he could answer Naruto's question, one of the girls embraced him in a hug. Naruto-kun. Naruto winced. Ack. Not so tight. Hinata loosened her hold but did not relinquish it. Her body lightly trembled and sobs could be heard. I was so worried you weren't going to make it. Naruto began to soothingly rub her back. It's okay, Hinata-chan, I'm alright. The Hyuga heiress surprised Kakashi and a now awake Sakura by leaning up and kissing him again, and Naruto did not react like this was out of the ordinary for them. Sakura smiled but felt her heart clench. I guess I waited a bit too long. Naruto, I hope you're happy with Hinata. Naruto seemed to now notice Sakura was in the room too and looked a bit nervous. Oh, hi Sakura. I thought you would be home or with Sasuke now. The pinkette shook her head. No. I wanted to make sure you were going to wake up before I left, and even if I wanted to I couldn't see Sasuke right now anyway. Naruto was confused. Sakura just referred to Sasuke without the kun suffix, and said she wasn't able to see him, or even interested in it. Why? What happened? Naruto, what's the last thing you remember? Kakashi asked. Naruto thought it over. I fought Sasuke and beat him, though he didn't know when to quit. But before everything goes dark, I could have sworn I saw a woman claiming to be my mother. Your mother? His 3 visitors repeated. Yeah. The weird thing was she said her name was Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze. Namikaze, like the yandame. Naruto said. It had to be some sort of trick. Like I ever could be related to a guy like the yandame. Kakashi immediately stiffened for a moment, something only Sakura noticed. Kakashi-sensei, is something wrong? Realizing his mistake, but knowing he can't ignore the question, the former Umbu captain quickly thought over how best to answer. I was just surprised, because the yandame did have a girlfriend named Kushina Uzumaki. Really? Naruto asked, caught off guard by this. Could this mean that wasn't a trick? Was she really my mother? Naruto, where did you hear that name? Kakashi asked. Just how informed is he? I thought he still didn't know who either of his parents were. Kakashi was well aware of who sired and birthed Naruto. Being the last student of Minato Namikaze did have its advantages. He knew his sensei was secretly married. He was one of the witnesses to it. He also was one of Naruto's protectors, ensuring those that wanted to do harm to the boy growing up would not succeed. His only obstacle was that he was not allowed to raise Naruto without news of Naruto's parentage being required to be public to settle the nosy public, and Sarutobi would not allow that. As long as Naruto was anonymous, he was relatively safe. As a Namikaze, he was a target to everyone, especially the mysterious person Minato said attacked during Naruto's birth. That concerned Sarutobi more than IWA. If IWA invaded, Konoha would fight back to defend themselves and save Minato's son. But if the masked man who knew about Kushina and the Kyuubi came back, that was too unpredictable for the Sandame's likings. After the fight, when all I could see for some reason was an orange light, a woman with long red hair and violet eyes came to me and called me her son. She told me her name and said she was coming back to me. Naruto answered. She also sounded a little upset, saying something like someone she didn't like kept her away all this time, and she thought she'd be here sooner. Wait. Is it possible Kushina didn't die that night? Kakashi asked himself. But then, where did she go? And why is it only now she can come back? Naruto, if this woman does show up, promise me you won't go anywhere with her until I get a chance to speak with her. Do you know her? Naruto asked. I did know a woman by that name, but she's been dead for a long time. If this somehow is her, I want to know. Was she really Naruto's mother-sensei? Sakura asked. Even Hinata looked curious to know. Kakashi withheld the need to sigh. I'm afraid I'm forbidden from saying anything. Naruto's origins are kept unclear for a reason I'm not at liberty to say. But if this woman does show up, I suppose that reason will become moot. Naruto and his visitors soon went back to sleep and stayed with him that night. Hinata had to reluctantly let go of him and sleep in a chair. In the morning, Kakashi had to go check on Sasuke to make sure he wasn't anywhere he wasn't supposed to be. Sakura and Hinata didn't have anywhere to be, so they stayed with Naruto and played a few available games. For a brief time they did leave so Hinata could check on Kiba and Sakura could check on Lee, but both came back. The entire time they were there, Hinata was not ashamed to be close to Naruto, and he did nothing to keep her away. Sakura was still confused but avoided asking anything so they wouldn't begin to feel bad about what they were doing. But the strangest thing of all was she found herself feeling a bit jealous. Not an angry territorial jealous like she felt when Ino got around Sasuke, but more of a yearning desire to be treated special by Naruto too. She didn't understand it, but she did know that for some reason Naruto actually felt a bit more appealing to her. Night came and this time the two girls had to go home. Fortunately Tsunade declared that was the day he could go home too. She didn't understand how, but Naruto was almost completely healed of his injuries. The only abnormality was a strange condensation of orange chakra at the base of Naruto's spine that Hinata pointed out. Tsunade couldn't make any sense of it, and wanted one more look tomorrow morning, but as long as it wasn't doing anything she saw no reason it would keep him in the hospital. Naruto laid awake in his bed, wondering about the possibility of seeing his real mother again. There were so many questions he had for her. Where did she go? Why did she go? Why couldn't she take him with her? Was she really the wife of the Yondaime, making him his son too? Did she love him? And what was her favorite flavor of ramen? Naruto was currently looking out the window as the sun was setting, as if hoping his mother would come in through the window like Jiraiya was known to. Oddly enough, the pervy sage hadn't shown up yet. Probably just busy looking at girls, trying to see their nice wet choi. Where did that come from? A knock at his door was a welcome distraction. Come in, he said. The door opened and two girls walked in. One was older than him and the other younger, and the younger immediately came up to him. Boss. Hey Moegi, nice to see you. I heard from Konohamaru and Udan you were busy when they came by earlier. Naruto told his follower. I'm glad to see you're doing better, Naruto. His other visitor stated. He saw this was Moegi's mother whom he's seen off and on throughout town. Hi Shinju-san. Thanks for coming by. Though would the other honorable civilians get mad at you for seeing me? Oh screw them. It's not like I need their permission for anything. Besides, my daughter's allowed to see her rescuer. Shinju told him teasingly. She knew her daughter admired Naruto, but ever since before the Chunin exams when a disguised Irika kidnapped her and Naruto saved her, Moegi seemed to admire him almost to a Hinata degree. Shinju thought it was cute given her age, and saw no harm in the young girl liking Naruto. It probably wouldn't last, and she could do worse. Oh, before I forget, the real reason I came by was because I was given this by one of the other council members. Shinju added before pulling out an envelope. I mentioned I was going to see you tonight, and one of them asked me to give this to you. I thought it was weird since given their attitude most of them don't want to give you anything less than death, but I took it and brought it here. Naruto took it. Naruto, before you open it, could you maybe make a clone and have it open the letter away from here? Just in case it contains a bomb or anthrax or something like that. Naruto nodded and created a clone. When he did, he noticed his chakra acted a bit weird this time, but he brushed it off. The clone went outside to an empty training ground and opened the envelope. There were no explosives or dangerous substances inside, but after reading the contents, the clone was so shocked and offended that it lost its balance when running back and it tripped and landed hard enough to be dispelled. Naruto immediately got the clone's memories and gasped. Those bastards. What is it? Both Moegi and Shinju asked. Naruto threw off his blanket and rushed to get dressed in a spare jumpsuit Kakashi had brought him. I need to get out of here and to Bachan before they get started. In his rush, he completely ignored the fact he didn't know why he had his clone's memories. Tsunade was sound asleep in her house, with Shizen in the next room. Fortunately, years of experience as a Sannin and a lack of heavy drinking allowed Tsunade to still be alert when sleeping. She opened her eyes the moment the window downstairs was opened. Someone's trying to get in, and my gut tells me it's not Jiraiya hoping to see me in my nightgown, she told herself, silently getting on her feet and putting her gambler's jacket over her white nightie. She wouldn't open her bedroom door, knowing the sound would alert the intruder and make them act faster. At the same time, she was cautious that this might be a diversion and the real problem would come from behind. Soon there was no noise, and that made Tsunade all the more unsettled. Okay, either a silencer jutsu has just been performed, or they're not being careless. Either way, it's ninja who know what they're doing and they're in the Hokage's house. This cannot go unpunished. Not wanting to scare them off, because she can't prosecute them if they escape, Tsunade, as careful as humanly possible, opened her door and got into the hall. The first thing she saw was Shizen, just as alert and dressed in a pair of black pajamas with a nervous Taunton at her feet. The two women made eye contact and nodded, both knowing what to do. Now it feels like a waiting game. We're both waiting for the other to make a move so we can retaliate as desired. Tsunade thought after noticing there still was no sound. She was getting impatient. Well, I'm not going to wait forever for something to happen. Fortunately, she didn't have to. As soon as he reached the house, Naruto was concerned. The door was wide open and there were ambu posted around the perimeter, not a good sign. He instinctively came to a stop before they could see him. Shinju and Moegi were following him but hadn't caught up yet since they didn't have his stamina. Damn, they're starting already. Well, not on my watch. Naruto angrily thought. The spot on his lower back was starting to burn, but he ignored it. Instead, he made a large amount of clones, aggravating the spot more so, and sent them in. The ambu were caught by surprise, but only one was taken down. The others started fighting off the clones and killing them, but the numbers never seemed to cease. Fortunately, Naruto didn't plan on them beating the ambu, instead they were there to distract them while he snuck inside. With so many Narutos around, no one could tell for certain which was the real one, who happened to be one of three that made it inside the building. Inside the main room of the house were three ambu, all three looking upset to see him. Bachan! Someone's trying to, one of the clones shouted out, only to be killed by a thrown kunai. You shouldn't be interfering, boy. The center ambu, the only one wearing a white outfit instead of a black one and having the ambu insignia on his vest too, said to Naruto with disdain. He wore a mask that looked like some kind of rodent with stripes. The one on his left bore some kind of bird pattern, and the one on his right looked like some kind of lizard. Like hell I won't. I saw the message from the council. You're here to hurt the Hokage, the other Naruto clone said. This time the ambu didn't attack, uncertain if this would be worth it. This is none of your business. The Hokage has proven she is unfit for the job and the council has voted to remove her from office. Village law says the council can remove the Hokage from office if they have reason to believe they're abusing their power. The white ambu told the blonde. Both Narutos looked madder. Like hell. I know that law, Gigi told me about it. The council has to vote unanimously for such a thing with both sides. And I doubt the clan heads were even asked, otherwise more than just the ambu would be here. And I know for a fact one civilian member did not vote for this. You're breaking the law and you know it. Oh, shut up, you beast. The bird ambu said before throwing a kunai at both. One dispelled but the other kawarimi'd with one of Tsunade's cushions, putting him behind the trio. Naruto lunged forward and threw a punch at the nearest ambu, the lizard one. He blocked it, but Naruto added a kick to his stomach for added measure. It stunned him, but the other two members rushed in with weapons ready to gut Naruto like a fish. Before they could, Tsunade came forward and punched them both. Get the hell out of my house! And consider yourself fired! Tsunade shouted to the ambu. Bachan! You okay? Naruto asked. Yeah, I heard the whole thing. Now let's get rid of these bastards, Tsunade said, cracking her knuckles. The white ambu tried to get up, but Tsunade grabbed his vest and lifted him up as Shizen came into the room. You're the head of the ambu. Correction, former head. Tell me who put you up to this and I might go easy on you. The ambu head just laughed this off. Go to hell, demon lover. You're still under arrest for leaving the village all those years and refusing to listen to the voices of the council. That shows your loyalty to Konoha is questionable and you're ignoring the needs and concerns of the civilians. You are going to be removed from office even if you stop me here, and you will be kept away to breed more senju. More sensible, obedient senju, that is. He finished with another laugh. Tsunade punched him right in the jaw. If his jaw or neck wasn't broken now, nothing would break it. Before she could do more, a scream outside could be heard, catching the attentions of Naruto, Tsunade, and Shizen. Since it was a woman's scream, Naruto headed back out. He was mortified to see that the gathered Umbu that hadn't gone chasing after some of Naruto's clones now had Moegi and her mother in holds with kunais at both their necks. Naruto glared, his eyes turned red with black slits, and red chakra forming around him. But this time, there was orange mixed in with the red, with nothing but orange at the base of his spine, noticeable only by Tsunade and Shizen at the moment. Let them go now. How about I do this instead? The Umbu holding Shinju said before thrusting his kunai into the back of her neck. Take that demon-supporting bitch. Moem? Moegi screamed, trying to kick herself loose. Fortunately her own captor wasn't as eager to kill. Naruto froze up, then got mad enough that his own tail cloak was starting to form with fangs and claws included. But unlike the last time, this time the chakra tail was entirely orange, no red at all. What's going on? Tsunade asked regarding the strange orange chakra. Shinju looked at the enraged Jinchuriki. Naruto, keep my daughter safe. Moegi, I love you. She closed her eyes and coughed up some blood. Moegi broke down in sobs, while Naruto jumped at the Umbu who murdered her defenseless mother. Using chakra claws, he ripped the masked man's head off with little effort. He turned his gaze towards the Umbu holding Moegi. He let the young girl go and escaped. Moegi ran to her mother, checking for any sign of life. Naruto dropped his cloak and checked with her. Neither found any, causing Moegi to sob into the blonde's shoulder as he held her comfortingly. Shizen gasped. Tsunade-sama, do you see what I see? She asked, pointing at Naruto with a shaky hand. Tsunade nodded. Naruto now had a tail. Not a chakra tail, but a dark-colored flesh tail with a spearhead tip. Naruto now had a tail. Not a chakra tail, but a dark-colored flesh tail with a spearhead tip. And he didn't even seem to notice it. Shizen whispered to Tsunade. My lady? I know, Shizen, but right now we've got a bigger problem. For instance, where are all the other Umbu? This clearly was not the entire force, so if this was only a fraction, then why didn't anyone intervene? For that matter, why is no one appearing right now to see what happened? Shizen gasped, thinking it over. You're right. What's going on? Tsunade stepped forward. Naruto! She called out, gaining the boy's attention. Help me take her body to the hospital. And create as many clones as you can and find every Umbu and clan head you can. Tell them I sent you and see how they react. Gather all the non-traitorous ones and bring them to the hospital. We need to see who all is still on my side here. Naruto nodded and let go of Moegi before creating hundreds of clones that ran out in every possible direction. He turned to help Tsunade carefully lift Shinju's body, making Moegi gasp. Boss, when did you get a tail? A tail? Naruto repeated, completely clueless to her question. I don't have a tail. Then what's that behind you? Moegi asked. Naruto felt his backside and quickly found a new appendage. What the hell? Where did that come from? I'll have to check that out too, but for now let's focus on her. Tsunade said, picking up Shinju. I don't think I can save her, but if there's a chance I'd better try. Naruto ignored his new feature and helped Tsunade take the civilian councilwoman's body to the hospital with Shizen and Moegi following. I'm serious, Ino. Sasuke was trying to kill Naruto. Sakura told her friend, both girls inside the Yamanake flower shop. Ino's parents were out on a date that night, so this felt like a good spot as any to have a talk. Really? But why? Wasn't Naruto sent out to save Sasuke-kun? Ino asked. He was. But the problem was Sasuke didn't want to be rescued. I saw it, Ino. Sasuke had a chance to come home. He was away from Orochimaru's henchmen and there was no one stopping him. But he chose to fight Naruto instead. He even used that lightning jutsu he used in the Chunin exams on Naruto twice. That move is an assassination move, so why would he use it in a friendly spar? He even tried using it on Naruto here in town before he left too. Sasuke honestly wanted Naruto dead. Ino was appalled. But why would he do that? I mean, Naruto may not be the easiest person to be around, but I wouldn't say he deserves to die. I think Sasuke's jealous of Naruto, Sakura suggested. Ino arched an eyebrow. Sasuke-kun? Jealous? Of Naruto? Why? Why else would he feel so compelled to beat Naruto? It's not like he would get rewarded for it. The way I see it, Sasuke wants to beat Naruto just to reassure himself he can, and that could only mean he's jealous or threatened by Naruto," the Pinkette said. "But why would he be like that?" Ino asked. "Naruto's a better person than we give him credit for. I mean, there is a reason Hinata likes him so much. Oh, you're not going to believe this, but apparently Naruto and Hinata are an item now." "What?" Ino came close to screaming. "How? When? Why?" "I don't know. I never got a chance to ask either of them. I didn't want to make them feel scrutinized while they were having such a good time together. But I think it was soon, since Naruto has been rather aloof to me lately. Even when I was on that date with him to talk to him, he acted like he wasn't all there." "Wait a minute. You actually went on a date with Naruto?" Ino asked. Sakura looked down, saddened. "Kind of. It was more like a meal between friends so we could talk, but I called it a date to get Naruto to agree to it. If he wasn't already with Hinata by then, I certainly didn't give him any reason not to, and if he was, he probably didn't know how to turn me down." Ino could sense the remorse in her friend's voice. "What happened?" Sakura was a bit hesitant to answer. "I was confused about Sasuke and hoped that by talking to Naruto about it he could help me know what I wanted. He tried to reassure me that Sasuke wouldn't do anything wrong, but I don't think either one of us really believed that. After that he cut it short. He probably saw that I had other things on my mind than spending time with him and felt hurt. I don't know, but I feel like maybe I hurt him. So? Naruto will get over it and be back to his normal self in no time. Don't beat yourself over it, forehead," the blonde mind walker callously commented. The Pinkette lightly frowned at her friend. "That was uncalled for, pig." Ino frowned back. "Well, why do you care so much? You never cared how Naruto felt before, so why now? I've seen you hit him like it's a reflex. And now his feelings are hurt and suddenly you feel bad. Before we get to my attitude, let's cover yours." Sakura jerked back a bit but didn't argue. Instead, she looked remorseful again. "You're right, I'm a horrible friend. But at least I've learned to admit it, and am willing to change it. Would you do the same, Ino?" Ino shrugged. "Why should I? Naruto's never been my friend. I don't hate the guy, but I've never even said more than one sentence to him at a time. Why should that change now?" "Because someday you may have to work with Naruto and depend on him for something like I have. Do you really want there to be a wedge between you when it happens?" Sakura asked back. Ino was confused by this sudden new attitude Sakura had. "Sakura, since when do you care what Naruto thinks? I mean, Sasuke-kun's the only boy you would even give the time of day to, and even last week he was the only boy you mentioned by name without someone else bringing them up first. So why now the change of heart?" "You really want to know why, Ino?" Sakura quietly asked, as if afraid to be heard. Her friend nodded. "Okay, the truth is..." "Die, demon scum!" a voice screamed outside. Both girls bolted out of their chairs and looked towards outside the store where the shout came from. From the window they saw a bunch of Narutos fighting an Umbu in the street. One of them knocked on the door. "Ino? You there? I need to see your father. Now!" Sakura reacted first and opened the door. "Naruto? What's going on?" "Some crazy shit's going on and the Umbu are turning against the Hokage. I'm trying to find all the ones who aren't and all the clan heads too. Where's Yamanaka-san?" "He's out with my mom," Ino answered, still processing all this. "Where? The sooner I find him, the better," Naruto asked. "I think they're either at the theater or at the Akimichi restaurant," Ino told him. "Thanks," Naruto said before turning around and heading back out, avoid the Umbu who now gave chase. Ino was wide-eyed. "The Umbu are rebelling? Why?" "I don't know, but that's not all. I don't know how to explain it, but I could swear Naruto had a tail," Sakura stated. Hinata was about to get ready for a bath then bed when she heard something at her window. Immediately worried, she instinctively activated her Byakugan and saw Naruto perched on her windowsill. "Naruto-kun?" she asked as she opened the window. "What's wrong?" "Hinata-chan, I can't stay long. Please get your father and tell him the Umbu are rebelling and the Hokage needs his help immediately to keep them from succeeding. Can you do this?" Hinata silently gasped then nodded. "Of course I will, Naruto-kun." "Thanks. I'd better get going before anyone dispels me. Just promise me you'll stay safe," Naruto said before giving her a light kiss then leaving, without waiting for her to respond. "Naruto-kun, good luck, and please stay safe too," she told herself before heading towards her father. Tsunade did the best diagnostic skin she knew over Shinju, only to find the results everyone feared were true. I'm sorry, but she's gone. Moegi broke out in tears, and Tsunade had a night duty nurse take the body to the morgue. She then looked at Naruto. Naruto, I need to get to the Hokage Tower to get control of this situation. Please get this girl somewhere safe, then get to the tower right away. And while you're at it, try to hide that tail. It's likely to only create more problems in the ninja, and that's the last thing we need. Naruto nodded and tucked his new tail under his orange top as best he could before lifting Moegi onto his back. This put a lot of weight on his tail, which ached, but he ignored it. Where should I take her? Her place might be a target now, and my place is even unsafer under the circumstances. How about Konoha Marus? That might work. The whiskered blonde immediately took off to the youngest Sarutobi's house. Tsunade at the same time headed towards the Hokage Tower. Who's behind this? That Umbu talked like he was enjoying this, but I don't believe he was doing this uncoerced. Someone put him up to this, someone who wanted me and Naruto out of the picture. And since they're acting now, that can only mean this is connected to the Uchiha's betrayal. In that case, this must mean someone on the civilian council does not like my ruling and is willing to break the law to get what they want, and even a good portion of the shinobi are on their side. Bunch of egotistical fuckers. Along the way, one of Naruto's clones came up to her. Bachan, I think you may want to see this. It's what made me come to you right away tonight. The clone held out the letter that Shinju had given Naruto earlier and was left behind in the training field, until a clone went to retrieve it. Thanks, Naruto, now get back out there and find help. Tsunade told the clone, who quickly departed. She read the letter and saw red. Naruto Uzumaki, you are hereby stripped of your status as genin and effectively banned from ever having a claim to ninja title, rank, status, or property including equipment from this day forth per orders of the council. Reasons for this, which we are only giving because we're legally required to, not that an abomination such as yourself deserves such courtesy, are because you have proven yourself a threat in our eyes to our more competent and valuable shinobi, and you are influencing the younger generation in a bad way as well as controlling the Hokage somehow. Do not bother having your puppet Hokage get you out of this, as she is effective immediately removed from office too, and we will decide an appropriate replacement, while she suffers for her crimes. It was signed Council of Konoha, but there was only the civilian seal on it. The shinobi seal was completely absent. Oh, I'm going to tear these assholes a new one. And then I'm going to get started on the serious beating. Suddenly, she stopped. Or maybe I could make this work to my advantage. Tsunade-sama? Shizen asked, seeing her mentor stop walking. Shizen, how long does it take to mend a broken body? Tsunade asked casually, resuming her walk. Shizen and Tonton were immediately confused. It depends on the extent of the damage and the effectiveness of the treatment given. True. And how long does it take to mend a broken ego? The slug Sennin added. The brunette and pig were even more confused now. That cannot be treated by anything less than time and acceptance of the situation that bruised it. Tsunade-sama, what are you getting at? We're in a serious situation here. I know. Which is why I'm asking this. Tell me, Shizen, what's crueler to do to someone with a superiority complex? Break some bones, or break their prides? My lady, stop speaking in riddles. Alright, but I'll have to tell you the rest later when we get to the office. Thanks to Naruto's clones, all the clan heads and some of the Umbu were brought to Tsunade's office. Okay everyone, we've got a crisis here. Not more than 30 minutes ago I was attacked in my own home by our own Umbu, led by the current head of the department. He declared me removed from office and under arrest and quarantine as if he had the authority to do such as thing. Naruto got warning of this and came to help me out, and under my orders gathered you all here. Any idea who is behind this, Hokage-sama? Shikaka asked. Tsunade showed him the notice. This was given to Naruto while he was recovering in the hospital and brought to me by him while the Umbu were attempting to catch me off guard. You tell me who looks like the responsible party. The notice was passed between a growing number of maddening shinobi all ranked jounin or higher. The nerve of these bastards. If I had hellhounds I'd sick them on them all right now. Some growled. What are your orders, Hokage-sama? Hayashi asked. Tsunade smirked. If I'm removed from office, I can't give orders, can I? All the ninja, including Shizen, were caught by surprise by that remark. Excuse me? Inoichi asked. I didn't come back to this village to get bossed around by idiots with more ego than courage or common sense. Some people here, I'm assuming most of the civilian council if not all of them, are trying to claim authority they don't have, and apparently some of the shinobi are on their side. Since each clan has active members in the Umbu ranks, I need to know right this instant who here approves of the idea that Konoha is better off with new leadership? Tsunade said, her gaze sharp enough to cut steel at the end. None of them argued with her. Hokage-sama, we support you. You can do the job well rather than some figurehead leader that the civilians would favor but would barely know how to do the job right. So what do you plan to do about this? Shikaku told her. The problem is deciding what to do when considering the consequences. Not too long ago we were invaded, and that alone makes us vulnerable to our enemies. An internal struggle over leadership and control of our ninja will only make the village a bigger target. With that in mind, a decision must be reached and achieved immediately for best results. Shibi stated. Tsunade nodded. Which is why I have an idea that may work. It's a long shot, and I know I'm not the best gambler, but this might just work for us. The others were interested to hear what she was going to say. Naruto brought Moegi to Konohamaru's home, and after assured she was going to be safe went back out to find Tsunade. I guess the people who hate me ran out of patience and are finally doing something about it. Well, I always knew this day might come. I just wish I could have had more time with Hinata-chan. I'll miss her, but at least she'll be safe and dash. He was cut off by a cluster of poorly aimed kunais coming at him from his left. He stopped and looked left, seeing an alley in between two buildings. He saw someone hiding in the shadows. Who the hell are you? Naruto shouted. The figure turned and ran off. Hey! I'm talking to you! He ran after the hidden attacker, despite his inner guts warning him not to. Out of the shadows, Naruto could see his surprised assaulter was dressed in black with a gray vest, reminding him of normal high-ranked ninja attire. Thinking quickly, Naruto formed a clone and got a Rasengan started on the run. Once it was done, they both jumped at the clone, grabbed Naruto, and spun him around to give him momentum before throwing him towards the running Nin. The Rasengan made impact in the ninja's back, causing a decent amount of damage and making him fall forward. Naruto grabbed the back of his collar and turned him around. Tell me who you're working for. The attacker turned out to be a man about 6 or so years older than Naruto, with dark gray hair and dull green eyes but no expression on his face, though there was a bit of mirth in his eyes. You'll never know, for you've fallen for my trap. All of a sudden 6 more ninja dressed identically and looking as stoic as the first one appeared surrounding Naruto. Come with us, Uzumaki. If you surrender, you will live but be put to proper use. Refuse and you will go to hell with the other demons. One of the 6 surrounders told him. I don't surrender. Now or ever, Naruto said before forming his favorite hand sign. All the gray-vested shinobi threw kunais at him, but luckily Naruto formed enough clones to take the hits for him. Unfortunately, they were prepared for this and threw a second wave, hitting Naruto this time. He remained on his feet, but his body was already sore and taxed from all the recent activity after healing from his severe injuries. It's a shame. You would have made a great weapon, but unfortunately you're a hard fox to domesticate. One of the ninja with long brown hair stated, pulling out a tanto with his comrades doing the same as if hoping to finish the job now. All of a sudden, the air pressure increased. It was like the feeling one got when exposed to a great amount of Ki, only this time it had a physical effect to it as well. Their bodies felt like something was crushing down upon them and their vision got darker and slightly blurrier. Naruto appeared fine but confused when his ambushers suddenly fell to their knees. What is this? The brown-haired one asked. Naruto looked around, unable to feel anything different, until he heard a thud behind him. He turned and saw someone new appeared. Naruto? The newcomer asked. It was the woman he saw at the Valley of the End, the one who claimed to be his mother. Naruto? She asked. Naruto himself was unsure how to react. Here was the woman who came to him in a strange vision just the other day, calling herself his mother. Part of Naruto wanted to believe this really was his mother returned from wherever she had been, but another part of him was certain this was some kind of trick. That part was the part that was winning in his mental struggle, mostly for one reason. If you're my mom, where have you been all this time? Naruto suddenly asked, sounding a bit harsh, but it was understandable. Name one orphan who wouldn't ask that when someone claiming to be their mother suddenly showed up after over a decade of being apart. Kushina looked sad, not hurt sad but more apologetic sad. I promise you, Naruto, I will tell you everything, but right here right now is not the best time. Then I'm going to get someone to confirm your identity, Naruto said. Kushina nodded. That's fair. Her eyes widened when she saw his new tail. You've got your tail? She then smiled. That's terrific. Naruto was surprised. Why is that? And why did you say your tail and not a tail? Kushina turned around. Suddenly a tail of her own appeared from the end of her spine just like Naruto. The only difference was hers was a little longer, and the end was shaped more like a heart than a spearhead. These are normal for our kind. But more on that later. She turned around and the tail disappeared. Our kind? Naruto asked, still surprised. What are you? What am I? More on that later, Naruto. Now, is something going on here or not? Now Naruto remembered what he had been doing. Oh right. Bachan's got a crisis. I should probably get back to her now. Is it alright if I come with you? Kushina asked. Right now I'd prefer it, Naruto answered before both headed towards the Hokage Tower. You can't be serious, Some said after Tsunade finished explaining her idea. All of the other ninja looked shocked by it too. Tsunade nodded. I know it's a risk, but it's the only way to drive the point across and ensure something like this doesn't happen again. Can anyone think up a better idea? Yes. Remove the civilian council from power and put new members in their place, Shikaku told her. The Hokage shook her head. There's no way of knowing just how far the influence of the civilian goes. Look outside, some of the shinobi are taking orders from them, and it's likely that's not all. They likely already have a contingency plan for if they ever are removed from power and can influence their replacements. Your suggestion, while fitting, is mostly a band-aid idea, and we need something that does more than soothes the problem. Your idea will only make things worse, Inoichi told her. Tsunade looked undaunted. Sometimes things have to get worse before they get better. Shibi spoke up. Hokage-sama, I will admit that if your idea works, the problem will effectively be eliminated, but how can you ensure it will work? And what do you have planned in case things do not go as expected? I admit this will make Konoha a bit of a target to others, but that is while I will be working on my contingency plan in the meantime. It will take me some time, but during that time Konoha should not ruin itself to the point of destruction. If it does, then as shinobi I hope you do the smart thing. When I have everything set up, I will contact all the clan heads and tell them to begin their part, and inform everyone they know who supports our cause. This is still risky, but I can't help but feel you may succeed, Chusa stated, crossing his arms. That's the spirit, Tsunade said with a smile. Hayashi sighed. Since we apparently cannot change your mind on this, who will accompany you in this endeavor? I'm thinking my apprentice and Naruto for starters to minimize suspicion. Since it is hard to guarantee anyone's loyalty right now, I'm afraid I will not be able to get much more right away. Kakashi stepped forward. If I may, Hokage-sama, I ask that you consider taking my other student Sakura too. Will you not be able to train her yourself, Kakashi? Tsunade asked. I could, but I'm concerned that someone is going to try to get Sasuke out of prison and absolve him of anything he's being charged with. Such an event would require my uninterrupted attention so I could take immediate action. Plus, it would help to get Sakura away from her parents. I've heard they are both strong supporters of the civilian council, so if things happen as you predict, they will try to drag Sakura into the problem. Interesting point. I will look into the possibility, Tsunade told him. Okay everyone, you know your roles in this. Start as soon as possible. Dismissed. Everyone nodded, even if a bit reluctantly, then left the office. Out in the streets the chaos appeared to have died down, and there were no more Naruto clones running around chasing or fighting Ambunin. Some Anbu ninja were still out, but it was impossible to tell what they were doing. They were likely looking for Naruto, but to what end was a mystery to everyone except themselves. Sakura and Ino were out looking for Naruto too. Actually, Sakura was looking for him and Ino was mostly following Sakura. After Naruto's clone left the Yamanaka shop, the two girls were concerned about what was going on. Ino could have waited for her parents to return home, but Sakura couldn't and wanted to find Naruto to see what was going on, and if she could help out. He had to be far from his best given he had been at the hospital only hours ago. Sakura, stop! Ino called out, only to be ignored. Even if you do find Naruto, what do you plan to accomplish? More than I would if I stand around and wait for it to be over, Sakura replied, tears in her eyes. As soon as I saw Naruto all bandaged up like that, I promised that no one would have to suffer because I was too weak to contribute anything on my own part. I can't let Naruto get in danger again while I stand back and just watch. I have to do something. Both Kunoichi had to stop and catch their breaths, leaning against a building as they did so. Do you have any idea where he even is? Ino asked as she panted. I think the hospital is a good place to start, and if he's not there we can find Hinata. She should find him quicker than we ever could, Sakura answered. Then why not go to her first? Ino asked. No need to worry her until we know whether or not Naruto's at the hospital, the Pinkette answered before running out again. Ino groaned and followed again. Ironically, when they turned a corner, they saw Hinata out heading towards the Hokage Tower. Hinata? Sakura called out. The Hyuga heiress turned to face the other two girls but didn't stop moving. Sakura? Ino? What are you two doing? The same thing you likely are. Looking for Naruto. Sakura answered. Hinata nodded, and now Sakura and Ino could see her Byakugan was active. I'm concerned too. A clone of his came by to warn me, but I couldn't stay away knowing he'd be in danger. Right now he's heading towards the Hokage and there's a woman I've never seen before accompanying him. So Hinata, is it true you and Naruto are dash? Ino started. Now's not the time, Ino. Sakura cut her off. Kakashi went out to find Naruto and bring him to Tsunade. Fortunately, Naruto ended up inadvertently coming to him. Kakashi-sensei. The cycloptic Jounin stopped in front of his student. Naruto, Hokage-sama needs. He stopped when he saw the woman behind the whiskered blonde. Kushina? Is that really you? Hey Kakashi, it's been a while. The red-haired woman told her husband's student. So you really did contact Naruto earlier when he said you did? Kushina nodded. I would have been here sooner, but I misjudged the distance to Konoha. Also I found something that briefly tied me up. Anyway, wasn't there something you were trying to tell my son? Kakashi-sensei, is she really my mom? Naruto asked, sounding desperate for an answer. Kakashi looked at Kushina, looking for any indication that she was not the real deal. Kushina smiled. I caught you kissing Rinchan without your mask in the alley behind the theater one night in the summer while you two were still chunin. Okay, you're the real Kushina, Kakashi stated. So Naruto, that means that she really is your mother. Naruto looked up at the woman in wonder and uncertainty, like he didn't know what really to feel right now. But we've covered that later. Naruto, Hokage-sama really needs to see you now. Are you the real Naruto? The blonde nodded. Good. Follow me back to her. Kushina, please come along. Kushina and Naruto then followed Kakashi, but he wasn't taking them to the Hokage Tower. Hey Kakashi-sensei, where are you going? Naruto asked. I'm taking you to the Hokage, Naruto. I never said where she was, did I? Hinata suddenly changed directions. Now he's going this way. This is good. We can catch up to him sooner like this. This direction took them to outside the Forest of Death, where Tsunade, Shizen, and Tantan were waiting. Standing back being covered in the foliage, they saw Naruto, Kakashi, and a woman they never saw before appear before them. Tsunade faltered when she saw the redhead. Kushina? Impossible. Hi you old bat. The years have not been kind to you. Kushina greeted with a grin and teasing tone but a friendly wave. Tsunade got mad and reflexively threw a punch. Completely calm, Kushina kept her waving hand up and blocked the hit, looking and acting like she was catching a ball being tossed to her. Naruto and Shizen dropped their jaws at this sight. Tsunade pulled her fist back. Only one person has ever been able to block me like that. You are Kushina. Where have you been, you teasing tomboy? I've been fighting a war just to gain the right to come back here, among other reasons. But more on that later. What's going on here tonight? A war? Tsunade repeated, then frowned. You're lying. Such news could not possibly be kept secret. Tell me the truth, Kushina. I'm not lying. I was in a war. Just not here in the elemental nations. I was in another kingdom fighting to get the tyrant out of power. I'm only able to be here now because the fighting is over and I want to see my son. Kushina defended. Well, fighting just started up here and we better get Naruto out of the danger zone. The slug Sannin told her. What? But I can help out, Naruto stated. Naruto, the best way you can help out is to not get involved, Shizen told the young boy. Tantan winked in agreement. You will have to explain yourself, Kushina, but for now, Kakashi, go find Sakura and bring her here if you want her to be a part of this, Tsunade said. Before Kakashi could move, Sakura emerged from her hiding spot. I'm here. What do you need me for? She called out. Sakura? What are you doing here? And how did you find us? Kakashi asked. I was concerned about what Naruto was getting involved in, Sakura answered. Hinata stepped out too. Me too. And I led her to Naruto-kun. She looked like she was expecting to be punished for this. Anyone else with you? Kakashi asked, eyeing the bushes. Ino came out. Just me. I tagged along. You and Hinata should go home right now, Kakashi ordered. Why? Ino asked. Because you wouldn't have any role here, the cycloptic Jounin told the blonde mindwalker. You girls better say goodbye to Naruto now because this will be the last time you'll see him for a long time, Tsunade told the two heiresses, trying to be considerate. Hinata looked shocked. No! She shouted as she lunged at Naruto, engulfing him in a hug. I just got him. You can't take him away so soon like this. Hinata-chan, Naruto started, but stopped when she tearfully gazed at him. Take me with you, Naruto-kun. Please? She asked in a way that would break most people's resolve and with eyes that would even make the puppy Aijutsu cave in. Naruto looked at Tsunade, who sighed. Hinata, I haven't even told Naruto about this mission. Sakura can go because of certain circumstances, but those don't apply to you. She looked at Ino. Ino Yamanaka, please return home. Ino left, albeit reluctantly, but Hinata refused to budge. Kushina smiled and stepped up to the brunette. Hi there, little lady. Are you my future daughter-in-law? Hinata blushed so much you'd swear every drop of blood in her body was in her face. Kushina laughed lightly as the Hyuga fainted in Naruto's arms. She must really like you to react like that, son. Most girls would deny it. Sakura turned to Tsunade. Hokage-sama, what's going on? Listen everyone, because I don't want to repeat myself, and we need to get out of here as soon as possible. Tsunade said, gaining everyone's attention. Hinata subconsciously snuggled closer into Naruto's chest, looking quite comfortable. Naruto, you're in danger here in Konoha, and this time the ones behind it are not stopping until they get what they want. I'm going to get you out of Konoha until they lose some steam. This may take a while though, so you better go pack for a long trip. Naruto shrugged. No need. My house was burned down apparently while I was heading to yours. My clones found out while they were running around. Tsunade arched an eyebrow. That could explain why the Umbu didn't immediately come to my aid, but that can't be the entire reason. So all you have left is on your person? Naruto shook his head. I've been prepared for a long time for the day I ever had to leave Konoha like this. I've got supplies hidden around in case my home was ever destroyed like this. I'll be fine. Tsunade smiled. Nice thinking, Gaki. Sakura was surprised. For years you thought you might be forced out of Konoha, Naruto? Sakura, even you must know I'm not exactly the most liked person in town. I hoped they would learn to get over it and accept me, but I was prepared for the possibility they wouldn't, and I would have to run or die. Hope for the best but prepare for the worst, like Irika-sensei said in class. The whiskered blonde told his teammate. Kushina looked confused. What do you mean, son? More on that later, Kushina. For now, let's get going. Kakashi, you know what to do. Sakura, you wish to come and learn under us? Tsunade said. The pinkette was surprised. Me? But why? Am I in danger too? Kakashi nodded. In a way you are, Sakura. You are his teammate, so the ones after him may target you as a means to get to him. If you go with them you cannot be targeted and you can learn under Tsunade-sama at the same time. Sakura turned to the blonde Hokage. But who will watch over Konoha while you're gone? I'll tell you after we're away from prying ears. Do you accept? Tsunade told the young girl. Sakura thought it over for a moment, looking at Naruto as she did. Alright, I will, but on one condition. Hinata goes with Naruto. The adults and even Naruto gave her a questioning look. You said I'd be in danger because I'm his teammate. Wouldn't his girlfriend be an even bigger target? She's got a point, Bachan. Naruto stated. Kushina smiled. I don't mind my son's girlfriend being with him. It could make things easier for him to understand. Understand what? Tsunade and Naruto asked. Away from prying ears, Kushina said, using Tsunade's excuse. Tsunade sighed. Fine. We'll wait to hear from Kushina and we'll take Hinata along. Kakashi, go inform Hayashi about this. When I find a stable location, I'll send word to you so you will be able to correspond. Any questions? What do we do if we need you immediately? Kakashi asked. An immediate return would be impossible for me, so delay the issue as much as possible and improvise if you have to. The slug Sannin told the Jounin. Kakashi nodded and left. So where are we going? Naruto asked. Go get your provisions, then we'll talk. Swanda told him. I know a good place you can hide. Kushina offered. My idea first. You still have to explain yourself before we go anywhere you recommend, Kushina. Tsunade claimed forcefully. Fair enough. Should I go home and get some stuff? Sakura asked. Tsunade shook her head. Probably not a good idea, unless there's something there you have to have or can't do without. She then faced Naruto. Naruto, how much did you stash away? Enough to feed and help myself for 6 months. Maybe a month or 2 for all of us if we use it carefully. Good. Sakura, if you can, be discreet about it. Shizen, accompany her and bring her to the top of the monument when you're done. We'll be there waiting. Yes, my lady, Shizen told her mentor. With that, Tsunade, Kushina, Naruto, and a still unconscious Hinata heading to Naruto's secret stash while Shizen, Sakura, and Tonton headed to the Pinkette's home. It didn't take long for Shizen and Sakura to reach the genin Kunoichi's home. The lights were off, telling them her parents were either out or sleeping. What are you going to tell them if you see them? Shizen whispered. Sakura shrugged. Not sure. The truth, I guess. Mind telling me why exactly you're going with us? Shizen asked. Not that I mind it, but I am curious. Let's get this over with first. Shizen nodded. I'll wait out here. You know what to do. Sakura nodded and went inside. I wonder how long it's going to be before I come back. Will I even be able to come back? She silently walked through the front room of her small house. No, don't think like that. Of course I will be back someday. I'm not going to leave Konoha forever, just until this revolution thing ends and Naruto's out of harm's way. I just hope Mom and Dad stay safe too. She carefully went up the stairs, using her chakra to stick to the walls rather than risk making too much noise. I guess I don't want Mom and Dad to ask me what's going on. I shouldn't just disappear, so maybe I should write a note for them. Yeah, that'll work. On the upper level, Sakura quietly got to her room and went inside. Her mission-ready gear was within immediate access, contained within a pink and white backpack. Grabbing it, she confirmed its contents. Kunais, check. Shuriken, check. Rations, check. First aid, check. Spare money, check. Change of clothes, check. Better bring along another set just to be sure. Bathroom products, check. Reading material, check. I guess all I need to do is grab some extra clothes and food and I'm good. Her door opened up, making her freeze, but she turned to see her father standing there in his dark blue pajamas. Akihiro Haruno was a tall, lean man with pale hair, enough that you'd swear it was white, and the same green eyes Sakura had. He was no shinobi, instead he worked at the hospital as a technician. Sakura, what are you doing? Hi, Daddy. Sakura replied, sounding caught. I'm just getting ready. Hokage-sama assigned my team a mission that we have to start under the cover of night, so I need to get going. Akihiro shook his head. I saw the records. One of your teammates is still in care, and the other just got out no less than 4 hours ago. Where are you really going? It's the truth. Hokage-sama's assistant is right outside waiting. You can ask her yourself. Akihiro still looked unconvinced. Why not your sensei? Where's he? I don't know. Probably getting ready too. Akihiro looked right at his daughter, making her feel uncomfortable. Sakura dear, I may not be shinobi, but I'm not gullible either. What are you really doing? Sakura frowned. I'm telling you the truth, Dad. Hokage-sama has an assignment for me and Naruto that we must start tonight. Why don't you believe me? I heard a lot of commotion outside, and your mother and I were worried since you weren't home yet. We've been waiting with the lights out to avoid drawing attention here all this time for you to get back, and now that you're heading out again to do an errand for the Hokage? Surely she has more sense than to send 2 genin out while there's a conflict going on here in Konoha. From behind him, Sakura's mother Mariko Haruno appeared, wearing a white bathrobe. She looked like an adult version of Sakura but with dull blue eyes and her pink hair worn in a braid. Sakura? Where have you been? Mom, Dad, I'm only saying this once. I have to go away for a while. I don't know when I'll get back, but I will when I'm able to. Sakura told them, trying to avoid telling them the real nature of what she was doing. This sounds too fishy to me. I want to hear from the Hokage about this first. Akihiro stated. She's busy right now, but you can talk to her assistant right now. Not good enough. I want to hear from the Hokage directly. Akihiro announced firmly, crossing his arms. Sakura held in a sigh. That's not up to you. Look, Mom, Dad, I'm sorry but I'm in a hurry. I love you, but I have to go. But why? Mariko asked. Sakura now sighed. All I'm allowed to tell you is it's for my own good, and I need to do this to help my teammate. Mariko held her daughter. Stay safe, dear, and try to come back soon. Sakura hugged her mother back. I'll stay safe, but I can't promise to come back soon. I could be gone for a long time. What? No, you can't. This is your home, you can't just leave it, her mother said, pulling back to face her. Sakura sended a single tear. Mom, I'm going to miss you both, but I have to do this. Why? Both her parents asked. Sakura closed her eyes and took a deep breath. I can't tell you anything. For the time being, you'll both be safer if you don't know. Just please believe me when I say I will be safe and I will come back someday. Akihiro's gaze softened. This isn't a normal mission, is it? Sakura nodded her head. And you can't turn it down? Sakura shook her head this time. And you want to go on this even if you could reject it? Sakura was slower to react this time, but she nodded. Mariko tightened her hold on her daughter, as if afraid or unwilling to let her go. Please, sweetheart, don't do this. Sakura pushed her mother away a bit. Mom, I told you, I have to do this. I don't have the time to tell you everything, just trust me when I say I need to do this. Maybe later I can send word to you on how I am and a better explanation, but tonight, let's just leave it at this. Mariko pulled away and pulled a dark red ribbon out of her hair that she put in at night to keep it from going all over the place and irritating her husband. Sakura, keep this with you. As a reminder of us and your promise to come back as soon as possible. Tentatively, the young genin accepted the offered ribbon and put it in her pack. Bye, Mom. Bye, Dad. I love you both. She hugged them one more time and went downstairs. Mariko embraced her husband for support. Do you think we're doing the right thing by not putting our foot down? Akihiro shrugged. Maybe we should have. But sadly, we're not the only authority figures in our daughter's life anymore, and we have to trust her to know what orders to follow and what ones not to. He put his arms around his distraught wife. Come on, let's get back to bed. All we can do is hope for the best. Mom? Bachan? Naruto called out. What is it, son? Kushina asked, bringing them to a stop. Before we go, there are two people I have to see. I owe it to them to let them know I'm not going to be around anymore. The whiskered blonde told the group. We don't have too much time, but if it's really important, Naruto, then make it quick. Swanda told him. I'll be at the top of the monument. Kushina, you come with me. Hinata, you go with Naruto to keep an eye out for him. The genin nodded, and although Kushina looked reluctant to obey, she did not argue. Then the two teens broke away and headed back into the village. Where are we going, Naruto-kun? Hinata asked. I need to see Moegi and the Ikarakus. I can't just leave without saying goodbye, not to them. Moegi is closest, so I'll get to her first. Why her? Hinata asked, not objecting, just wondering. Naruto struggled to answer. Her mother died tonight, and her dying wished for me to keep an eye on her. If I can't be here to do that, I need to tell her why. Would you like to let your family know about you while we're at it? Hinata shook her head. No, I don't. If I did, they'd try to stop me, and they'd likely succeed. It's best if we just ignore them. Before more could be said, the pair arrived at Konohamaru's house. Naruto knocked at the door, and Konohamaru's mother answered the door. Welcome back, Naruto. Is something wrong? Boss! Moegi screamed, running right to the orange-clad ninja. You okay, Moegi? Naruto asked. The orange-haired girl nodded. I'm just afraid of being away from you right now. You're strong enough to keep the enemies away. Naruto was afraid to burst her bubble right then, but had no choice. Moegi, I'm going to have to go away to make sure they stay away. So I won't be around here to keep you safe for a long time. Moegi was wide-eyed. What? No. Don't go, boss. I need you. Konohamaru was equally surprised. You can't go, boss. Konoha needs you here to become Hokage. I know, Konohamaru, but Konoha unfortunately doesn't want me here for the time being, and they're going to try to kick me out or maybe even kill me. I have to leave until they change their mind. Naruto explained. Can I go? Moegi asked. Naruto shook his head. I'm afraid not, Moegi. Why not? I'm all alone here. Where will I go? Naruto looked at the Sarutobis. Could you watch over her? Konohamaru's mother shook her head. Maybe for a night or two, but nothing long term. It's not that we don't want to, but we don't have the room or money to. Hinata looked at the young girl. Do you have any other family? Moegi shook her head. I was adopted. Unless boss takes me with him, I'm going to have to go back to the orphanage. Naruto cringed. That was a fate he wouldn't wish on anyone. I don't know what to do, but maybe Bachan would. You want to go ask her? Moegi nodded, and Naruto faced Konohamaru's mother. Thanks for watching her. If I don't bring her back tonight, just know she'll be in good hands. Hey, can I go where you're going, boss? Konohamaru asked. Naruto shook his head. Sorry, Squirt. Your mother needs you, and I need someone I can trust to keep an eye on Konoha while I'm away. Plus someone has to tell Udan everything, right? The young boy sighed, then stood diligently. I'll do what I can to make this town see it needs you, boss. Thanks, Konohamaru. I'm counting on you. After saying goodbye to Konohamaru's family, Naruto created a clone and had it take Moigi home to gather a few things she wanted to keep on her before heading to Tsunade. During that time, he and Hinata headed to Ichiraku's ramen. Naruto was quite surprised to see the lights on. Maybe they're pulling a late shift tonight. He thought aloud before entering. Old man? Ayame-chan? Naruto? Tuchi and Ayame called out before coming out of the kitchen. You alright? Naruto nodded. Yeah, I'm okay. Despite this weird thing. He then held out his tail. The ramen chefs gasped. What is that? Some strange tail that appeared tonight while I was fighting. Even weirder, my mom showed up today and she even has one too. Naruto answered. Hinata looked at him. She has one too? I didn't see one. She can apparently hide it. I don't know what's going on here. How do we know you're really Naruto then? Tuchi cautiously asked. Who else would ask to eat their own weight in ramen and ask if you had a scale to determine how much ramen that really would be? Ayame smiled. Good enough for me. We thought you might show up with all those clones we saw in the streets. What's going on? To put it short, I'm going to have to flee town for a while. Naruto told them. Tuchi made an understanding sound. So it's finally come, eh? Naruto nodded. Looks like it. I wanted to say goodbye since you guys have been like family to me. Speaking of family, could I go see your mom? There's something I'd like to ask her while she's here. Ayame asked, a stern look in her eyes. I guess, though we have to move fast. Ayame smiled. No problem. Just let me get ready. I'll be a moment. She then turned and went in back. Tuchi looked at the young boy he considered the son he never had. Where will you go, Naruto? That wave country you told me about? Likely. It's nearby and somewhere I know I'd be welcome in. Hinata tapped his shoulder to get his attention. Naruto-kun, maybe you should think of somewhere else. If any hunter nin are sent after us, that might be the first place they'd search. Really? Naruto asked. Actually, that makes sense. Tuchi added. Ayame appeared. I'm all set. Naruto was surprised to see her. She wasn't dressed in her ramen server outfit, probably the only thing Naruto had ever seen her wear. This time Ayame dressed an awful lot like Anko, wearing a black open jacket with a dark purple mesh shirt underneath that almost made her bust look half a cup size bigger than her normal outfit led others to believe. She wore skin-tight black leggings under a black skirt with a blue belt and a ninja tool pouch strapped to her right thigh. On her back was a purple backpack. There. I'm ready. For what? Naruto asked, not expecting this. If I'm going to see your mother Naruto, I want to make a good impression on her. As well as show her I'm no pushover. Ayame calmly explained. Are you expecting to fight her? Hinata asked, quite surprised. No, but if she says something that will make me want to kick her ass, then I'm sure as hell not going to do it dressed as a chef. The brunette told the younger girl. We should get going now though. Old man, thank you for everything, and be ready to really get to work when I come back. Naruto told Tsuchi. The old man nodded. Will do. He then shared a knowing look with his daughter who nodded, as if they silently came to a conclusion the two genin didn't understand. Rather than worry about it, they both left the ramen stand with Ayame following them, moving with the grace and speed of an experienced kunoichi. Naruto-kun, you never said she was a shinobi. Hinata mentioned. It never came up. Besides, she resigned years ago. I'm not sure why, she just said she was mad at someone and refused to do more work, so she quit and started working with her dad. I asked why, but she always told me not to worry about it. Naruto told her. How good is she? Hinata asked. Naruto thought it over. Let me put it this way, when she tells me I've had enough ramen to eat, I don't argue anymore. While still a vague answer, Hinata knew it had big implications. She can actually make him stop eating ramen? Holy crap! Tsunade and Kushina were on top of the monument discussing something when Sakura, Shizen, Naruto, and Hinata showed up. Both older women were surprised to see two extras accompanying them. Naruto, who are they? Tsunade asked. Ayame walked to Kushina. I'm assuming you're Naruto's mother? Kushina nodded. Yes, I am. Are you one of my sons, Dash? She was cut off by a solid punch to her jaw that knocked her on her ass. Bitch, where the fuck have you been all this time? I am, yelled at the redhead, surprising those around her. I am Nei-chan. Naruto called out in shock, but the brunette paid it no mind. Kushina got back on her feet and glared back at the ramen chef. That was unwise, brat. I am refused to back down. You've been gone for 12 years, leaving this poor boy all alone in the world, and now you decide to come back and be a part of his life? Not while I'm around. Give me one good reason why I shouldn't kick your ass for leaving Naruto alone like that. Kushina smiled. You care about him, don't you? He's practically family to me and probably the only decent boy I know of any age. Now answer my question, damn it. Kushina looked at Naruto and smiled. I like this one, Naruto. Fierce and not afraid to defend her turf. Don't lose this one. Everyone was confused. What? Never mind this. Naruto, why did you bring others here? Tsunade asked. I am Nei-chan, wanted to see my mom, and Moegi here has nowhere to go. You saw what happened earlier, so I can't just ignore her. What should she do? Tsunade knelt down to look at the young girl who was clinging to Naruto. Do you have any family to stay with? Moegi shook her head. I was adopted and Mom never mentioned any other family. Please don't send me back to the orphanage. I don't want to be orphaned twice. Why not bring her along? Kushina suggested, catching everyone's attention. I don't see why not. Tsunade shook her head. Not the best idea. It could slow us down and make us more vulnerable to anyone who wanted to do harm to us. Got a better idea? Because so far I only see 3 options. With us, in the orphanage, or find a new guardian right now. Kushina asked. Finding a new legal guardian right then was definitely impossible for Tsunade. The Umbu were disorganized, and it was impossible to tell for sure where everyone's loyalties lay. Not to mention it would look suspicious if Tsunade was in a hurry to give one girl a home within an hour. Tsunade sighed and got back up on her feet. I still don't think bringing her with us is a good idea. However, leaving her doesn't sound any better. Just do what we say, little lady, understand? Moegi smiled and nodded. Yes, ma'am. So where are we going? Sakura asked. Hinata-chan says we shouldn't go any place we've already been, like wave or tea or snow. Naruto stated. Shizen nodded. Yes, and even though we could probably catch up to the 3 from Suna who are going home, it would be unwise to get them involved in this mess. Tsunade snapped her fingers. I know the perfect place to head to for now anyways. Where? Everyone asked. Sea country. Over the course of the next day, everyone in the group had made a lot of progress in getting away from Konoha, though not as much progress as Tsunade would have preferred. 2 things had slowed them down a bit. The first being Moegi, who needed to be carried the whole time, which slowed down her ride and thus the group. The second, being the more inconvenient, was someone Kushina had taken an interest in. Please tell me why exactly are we dragging her along? And don't give me that I'll explain later crap. Tsunade insisted when they took a break in the evening. I was looking for my son and found her in the area. I had no way of knowing if she was an ally or an enemy, but the only way to know was to take her with me and find out. Kushina answered. The person in question was an unconscious woman with red hair wearing a tattered white and purple kimono held together by a thick purple robe acting as a belt. This whole time she had been covered up in medic wrap and carried by Kushina, so no one had recognized her until now. Right now she was laying on her back, looking peacefully asleep. That woman's the enemy mom. She works for Orochimaru, Naruto said. Why did you bring her here? Like I just said, son, I had no way of knowing if she was with Konoha or not. I didn't want to abandon her if she was one of your allies, and I figured if she was an enemy we could get information out of her. Kushina answered. Not a bad idea, but she must be close to death if she hasn't woken up yet, Shizen said. She was in a lot of pain, so I put her in a forced sleep. Considering half her body was crushed by a tree, I'm not surprised. Kushina replied. I'm not exactly a healer, so I thought maybe you Tsunade could take a look at her. Tsunade frowned. If she works for Orochimaru, the only healing I'm doing to make her coherent enough to answer questions. After that, she can be in agonizing pain till she dies for all I care. Everyone looked at her weirdly for saying it, yet none of them could truly fault her for wanting such a thing. I take it you and your old teammates still aren't the best of terms? Kushina asked. If anything, things have only gotten worse in your absence. Speaking of which, you've yet to explain anything about that Kushina. The slug Sannin stated. Kushina looked down at Tayuya. Why don't we wake her up and find out what we need to first? Tsunade got in front of the redhead. No, Kushina, enough stalling. I don't know why you're so hesitant to tell us your story, but we're not doing you any favors until you explain yourself. Kushina sighed. Fine, but you better sit down. It's a long story and I doubt you're going to believe me anyway. Everyone sat down and looked at her expectantly, with a little bit of curiosity too in the younger members of the group. I'm not exactly sure how to explain it, because for you all to truly understand where I was and why, I'd have to tell you something that would completely change your perspective of the world you live in. But that can probably wait, so I'll start with something simpler. Like maybe why Naruto has a tail. That would help to know, Ayam said. The answer is because Naruto, like me, isn't exactly human. We're a different race. Naruto immediately paled. I'm a demon? No, I can't be. I can't be. It's not true. You're lying. Hinata immediately hugged him, allowing him to quiet down. It's okay, Naruto-kun, we know you're not a demon. She's right, son, you're not. You have no connection to Mikai. You're an incubus, Kushina stated. Incubus? Shizen asked. But even if those creatures did exist, they're still considered demons. Only by human standards. People have gotten rather lazy when classifying the non-human sentients. The denizens of Mikai, the Ayakashi, are better suited for being considered demons, though that's still not a completely accurate word. Incubi and succubi don't come from Mikai, they come from Alfheim. Alfheim? Everyone asked. One of the 5 realms. Maybe I should explain that part first after all. Kushina answered. When no one objected, she continued. This world, the world of humans, is actually just one of 5 worlds. You call it Earth, but it does go by other names too, such as Middle Earth, Human Realm, World of Chakra, and Midgard. Midgard? Isn't that what you said to me when I saw you in that vision? Naruto asked. Kushina nodded. Yes. You see, Midgard is considered the official name of this realm to those that live outside it. Here, let me draw you a diagram. Using her finger, Kushina drew a picture in the dirt. She drew 5 squares stacked on top of each other like a stone pillar, with a tree on top that had roots extending to all the squares. After that, she drew an X in the center square. This is Midgard if one maps the realms in conjunction with the other realms. Kushina pointed out. Starting from the top, the worlds go Asgard, Alfheim, Midgard, Mikai, and Niflheim, which are all connected by the Yggdrasil tree, which is sort of a realm in and of itself, but different from the others. The 3 central worlds are the mortal realms, the 3 Earths, where life forms like us live and die. The top and bottom realms are the 2 afterlife realms, where the dead go when they die. It is possible for the living to go there for a time, but it's not easy or recommended, especially if the deities there get offended by what happens. You mean those 2 places are heaven and hell? Shizen asked. Kushina nodded. Yes, though it's not quite as simple as what you're picturing. Most Midgardians know little of the other worlds aside from what they hear in legend, which always distorts some of the facts. Few Midgardians have ever even been to the other realms. To be honest, I only know of one person who's ever been to all of them. Who? Naruto curiously asked. You know him best as the Sage of 6 Paths. Who? Naruto asked, looking confused. Kushina saw he wasn't the only one. In fact, Tsunade looked like she was the only one who knew the title. Tsunade, you mind explaining that one? The sage was the man who discovered how to use chakra and thus invited ninjutsu and pretty much the ninja way as it is today. He was said to be a very powerful man and is considered to be the father of the men who would later create the Senju and Uchiha clans. Very little about him as a person is known, but he was said to be a traveler and a peace-loving man. Tsunade told everyone else. Why was he called a Sage of 6 Paths? What were those paths supposed to be? Sakura asked. The paths in question were based on the 6 Buddhist paths of reincarnation. These are the paths a reborn soul can take in after they die, based on the accumulated karma of their past life. They are called Deva, Preta, Human, Animal, Naraka, and Asura. Preta and Naraka are considered the hellish paths while Deva and Asura are considered the more heavenly. Human and Animal are the more neutral ones. Sounds like this guy wasn't called a sage for no reason, Naruto said. Kushina nodded. True, however that's not the complete reason. Everyone turned back to her. The story says the sage traveled extensively. Did it ever say exactly where he went? Tsunade thought it over, but drew a blank. You mean to say he actually went to other realms? Kushina nodded. How? Probably the same way I did, by use of Yggdrasil. It's a handy way to get from one world to another despite how hard it is to use. Anyway, what you don't know is that the 6 paths the sage referred to are not only Buddhist paths, but the realms too. The Deva path was Asgard, the Azura path was Alfheim, the human path was Midgard, the animal path was Makai, the Naraka path was Niflheim, and the Preta path was Yggdrasil. The others looked surprised but said nothing, allowing Kushina to continue informing them. The sage is but one of the few travelers to see all the realms, and it is thanks to those like him denizens of the other worlds have knowledge of this as well. Of course, most of them like people here just think this is all made up, but it's not. I myself have only been to 2, and that's still more than most people can go without dying first. What are these worlds like? Moegi asked. Kushina smiled. I'll start from the top. She pointed to the top square in her dirt diagram. This is Asgard, aka Heaven, Olympus, Paradise, Deva Realm, and World of Will. This is where the Kami live and all the souls they bless live with them there. From what I understand, there are 4 areas in Asgard. There's Vanir, where the earth gods live. Aesir, where the sky gods live. Valhalla, where blessed mortal warriors live after death. And Elysium, where blessed mortal civilians live after death. Valhalla and Elysium are what we consider heaven. Generally speaking, a living mortal like us can only get to Asgard by either invitation or being related to a god, so I'm not exactly sure how the sage got there. She now pointed to the second square. This is Alfheim, aka Higher Earth, Azura Realm, Fantasia, and World of Mana. While this world is dominated by the humans, Alfheim is dominated by elves. There are multiple sentient creatures there too, collectively regarded as Asurians. You might still call them demons, but these are more of the good-natured demons you hear about. If you ever want me to take you there, you'll find it quite similar to this world. The division of the regions are even similar to this world. This next one is Midgard, the world you're already familiar with, so I'll skip that and move on to the next one. Kushina then pointed to the 4th square in her diagram. This is Makai, aka Lower Earth, Jotunheim, Muspelheim, Animal Realm, and World of Yuki. This is the world where the Ayakashi, the bad-natured demons, would live, though they aren't by nature evil. They just live more primitively than we do and tend to get in fights whenever they encounter someone from another world. Some of them are sentient and have their own cultures, but they're more along the lines of barbarians than what you'd consider truly civilized. All in all, it's mostly an untamed and mostly unmapped world. The dominant race, if I recall correctly, are giants and onis. Now the final world here, Kushina said pointing to the bottom square, is Niflheim, aka the Underworld, Hades, Naraka Realm, and World of Rashur. This is where all dead souls originally go if not blessed by an Asgardian first. Most are brought there by Shinigami, and then judged to determine where exactly they go. This realm, from what I hear, is divided into 3 areas. The first is Suriidai, where ordinary souls go if they can accept death and wait for the chance to be reincarnated. That's also where the Shinigami live. The second is Hueco Mundo, where nasty spirits go when they die and spend their time doing who knows what. The third is Hell, where Shinigami place the worst souls to be punished and tormented. The final path, so to speak, is Yggdrasil, the Preta realm, which is and isn't a realm at the same time. It's sort of the glue that holds all the other worlds together. One can enter it, but they cannot stay there for long. Doing so is deadly, for there are ghost-like natives who are quite territorial and vicious, which makes traversing Yggdrasil risky. Every time you enter Yggdrasil, there's a chance you will not exit alive. So this Alfheim is where you've been? I am asked. Alfheim, and yes. But please believe me, it wasn't something I wanted. Kushina answered, sounding saddened. The day Naruto was born, the same day that Kyuubi attacked Konoha, a few Asurians found me and dragged me to Alfheim against my will. I was already weakened from giving birth and fighting against the Kyuubi, so I couldn't put up much of a fight. Why would they take you away? Naruto asked. Because I was born in Alfheim, but raised in Midgard, Kushina admitted, as if fearful of the response. Born in Alfheim? What exactly are you? Hinata asked. Kushina closed her eyes. From behind her, a tail grew along with a set of bat-like wings. She then opened her eyes. I am called a succubus. Succubus? Tsunade asked. The demon that seduces men to have sex with them then kills them? Not exactly. There probably have been unscrupulous ones that have acted like praying mantises like that, but for the most part we aren't sexual predators. Kushina countered calmly. The thing about my kind is our power gets out of control often, and only orgasms stabilize it. What are orgasms? Moegi innocently asked. Is that part of a girl's time of month? Naruto asked just as innocently. Wide-eyed, Kushina shook her head. I'm not exactly sure how to explain an orgasm to someone, let alone my own son, so I'll let Tsunade handle that. She then smiled deviously at Hinata. Unless his girlfriend would like to do that. Hinata's blush invented a new shade of red before she fainted. And since you're a succubus, That makes Naruto an incubus? Tsunade asked. Well, sort of. Naruto could have just as easily been a human like his father. It's mere chance that he took more after me in that extent. Who was my father, Mom? Naruto asked. Kushina was confused. You weren't told? Naruto shook his head. Your father was Minato Namikaze, the Yondaime Hokage. Naruto stared blankly, then lightly laughed. No, seriously, who was he? Kushina lightly jerked back. Son, that wasn't a joke. He is your father. Nice try, Mom, but that's impossible. There's no way I could be related to someone as important as the fourth. If I was, I wouldn't have been ignored and insulted my entire life. Kushina looked surprised to hear this, then turned to Tsunade. What does he mean by that? Tsunade hesitantly sighed and turned to face Naruto. Naruto, she's not lying. Your father really was the Yondaime. Naruto looked like a deer in the headlights. No, that's impossible. It can't be true. Why not, son? Kushina asked, but he didn't answer. Tsunade turned to the redhead. Kushina, your son has been the target of massive negative propaganda. Konoha's population overall can be divided into 3 parts: those like us who value Naruto, those that can tolerate Naruto, and those that would only give him a grave just so they could dance on it. What? Kushina asked in disbelief. Why would that happen? We said we wanted Naruto to be seen as a hero. Apparently Konoha missed the memo. I am stated. Kushina got comfortable. Tell me everything. You requested us, Hayashi-sama? Shino asked. Yes, thank you both for showing up, the Hyuga had said to his 3 guests. May I ask why you wish to see us? Ino asked. The reason I requested you is I wish you 3 to perform me a service, Hayashi told them, confusing them both. The thing is, the Hokage is temporarily out of town handling some business, and I have reason to believe my daughter is with her. This wouldn't be a problem, but I never heard she was invited to accompany the Hokage, nor was any message saying otherwise given to me or any Hyuga. What I want you 2 to do is track her down and find out where she is. You fear she's in danger? Shino asked. This wouldn't be the first time, Hayashi responded, remembering the Kumo incident. But why us? Why not one of your own? Tenten asked. Because I'm currently evaluating my own clansmen to find something of interest. I chose you 2 because you Shino can track her down and avoid scaring her once you find her. You Yamanaka-san can ensure she's not under someone's influence while you're at it. And you Tenten-san can fight if the situation requires it. Hayashi told them. Can you do this for me? We can, but the question is if we should, Shino stated. This basically qualifies as a mission, and accepting one not issued by the Hokage is tantamount to insubordination. We could get in legal trouble for this. Besides, I'm pretty sure I know where Hinata is anyway, Ino added, gaining everyone's attention. Last time I saw her she was with Naruto and Hokage-sama. So I'd say it's quite likely she's still with them wherever they are, so you shouldn't worry. True, but under normal circumstances one of them would let me know. Doesn't someone inform your father when you go out of town? Hayashi asked. Ino thought it over. You're right. Yet no one informed me about this, giving me reason to believe there's more to this. Maybe I'm wrong and there's nothing to worry about, but I'd like you to go confirm what's going on. If anyone tries to punish you for this, I'll take responsibility, Hayashi said. The 3 genin looked at each other, trying to decide what to do. I don't see why not, Tenten said. Ino shrugged. I've got to admit I'm curious. I'm concerned for my teammates' well-being. So I guess we'll get headed out right away, Shino added. Thank you. You will be rewarded when you get back, Hayashi told them with a smile before they left. My daughter, wherever you are, please be safe. The sun was set, and it was close to time to go to sleep, but no one felt like sleeping. Heck, Naruto didn't even feel like talking. Or being around the others. Right now he had walked away from the group and was sitting on a long hunched over, doing a pretty good brooding Sasuke impression. Right there sounds the hate. Despite his obvious wish to be alone, Hinata, Sakura, and Ayam were there with him, hoping to soothe his bad mood in any way they could. The others were wisely keeping their distance from him, while Moigi just wasn't sure what to say or do here. Sakura and Ayam were just hovering around Naruto, waiting for any sign he wanted to acknowledge them, while Hinata was sitting right next to him, leaning on him. He did not object to her contact. Let it out, Naruto-kun, don't keep this to yourself. Let me help you. The blonde sighed. I just can't believe this. Why didn't the old man tell me? Why didn't he tell anyone else? Maybe then I wouldn't have been so hated. He paused for a moment, struggling to not cry. How many people knew, and still said nothing? Did nothing? Gigi? Bachan? Erosenin? Kakashi-sensei? Did they know? Why wasn't I told? He shed a few tears. Ayam looked mad. I find it very unlikely that the Sandaime didn't know. Now I respect the old man even less. Makes me wish I had done more. What do you mean? Sakura asked. Ayam leaned against a tree, her arms crossed. I used to be a chunin, and a damn good one. I was also one of Naruto's guards when he was younger and targeted a lot more often. My teammates and I were diligent, and unlike the other guards who often just warned the idiots, we weren't afraid to use force in response to his harassers. Apparently some dumbasses decided to press charges on us for inconveniencing and endangering them, and we countercharged them for interfering in shinobi business and conspiring to murder a child. Ayam closed her eyes and clenched a fist, the others easily feeling latent rage coming from her. The matter was brought before the council, both sides, and naturally it became a tug of war between the two sides like it always does when Naruto's involved. This particular one got worse than usual, and I remember at least one civilian making threats at the shinobi side for not being obedient. I think he went so far as to claim that the shinobi were supposed to take orders from the civilians, though he probably said it a lot more derogatorily than that, and at least one more civilian supported the claim. Her audience were wide-eyed to hear this, and Ayam opened her eyes. It's been years since then, so I don't remember everything that happened in that hearing. But I never forgot what the results were. The Sandaime settled with the civilians. Settled. The so-called strongest ninja in the village refused to put his foot down and instead compromised with people whose only weapon is pissing and moaning. After that, I was so disgusted I refused to take orders from him again and resigned. Though I refused to stop watching over Naruto even if I wasn't an active kunoichi anymore. What was the settlement? Moegi asked, fearful of what the ramen chef would say. Ayam looked like she was struggling to make herself answer that, or maybe she didn't know the best way to phrase the answer. The civilians threatened a citywide boycott of every sale to every shinobi unless the Sandaime executed Naruto that night once and for all. The shinobi declared that was tantamount to treason and sabotage, and the civilians, to put it politely, told them to tell someone who cared. They even told everyone that they had a contingency plan set in place so that if they were arrested, executed, or removed from power the boycott would automatically happen until Naruto's head was on a pike for all to see. Sakura looked like she wanted to throw up, but Hinata got up and ran for the bushes to actually do the deed. Naruto and Moegi both paled enough to look like they were Orochimaru's kids. Seriously? What stopped them? Sakura asked, almost frightened to hear the answer. Ayam could not give anyone eye contact. The Sandaime would not give them what they wanted, but he wouldn't risk calling their bluff. In the end, she looked like she wanted to vomit. He agreed to pardon all those that tried to kill Naruto and altered the law regarding him to be punishable by prison time rather than death. Naruto immediately bolted to his feet. He what? The blonde didn't know whether to feel horrified or betrayed. But he told me. He told you what he thought was best for you to hear, Naruto. Ayam sadly interrupted, her expression very empathetic to him. He didn't tell you who your parents were, and he didn't tell you about you-know-what. Is it really that hard to believe he wouldn't tell you the real law about what happens to those that victimize you? What law? There's a law that applies specifically to boss? Moegi asked as Hinata came back, holding her stomach and wiping her mouth with her sleeve. Naruto and Ayam shared a look. "Nei-chan, could you tell them the story?" "I just can't right now," Naruto asked as he slumped on the ground as if completely defeated. Hinata, Sakura, and Moegi all tried to hug him to make him feel better, but he practically looked suicidal. "You sure about that, Naruto?" Ayam asked. The whiskered blonde nodded. "I just want to get it over with. Please, Nei-chan, you're one of the only people I can trust anymore." Each girl there felt their heart ache for the poor boy, and they all shed a tear for him. "Okay, Naruto. Girls, there is a law that centers around Naruto. You see, there is a reason people treat him the way they do. Is it a good reason? Not by a long shot, but that doesn't stop people. And while I'd rather not have to reveal this under the circumstances, but if you're going to be on the lam with Naruto, you probably should know why Konoha wants him dead in the first place." The girls listened with much interest, but none relinquished their hold on him. "You should know about the story of the Yondaime and the Kyuubi. Did the Academy ever tell you exactly how the Yondaime got rid of the fox?" Sakura and Hinata shared a look before looking back at Ayam. The sensei said a very advanced jutsu was used that ended up killing the Yondaime was used. They couldn't say exactly which jutsu it was because no one was familiar with it. Sakura answered. "If no one was familiar with it, then how did they know it worked?" Ayam asked. Sakura was momentarily speechless. Good point, but regarding Naruto? The Yondaime got rid of the Kyuubi, but it didn't simply cease to exist. He put it somewhere to ensure the creature would never succeed in destroying Konoha. Unfortunately, the only place he could put it was in a seal he placed on Naruto. It was fun while it lasted, Naruto told himself, so completely certain the three girls would try to kill him now he'd bet every ryo he ever spent on ramen on it. He closed his eyes and braced for Sakura's shouts and fists, Hinata's cursing and jukin, and whatever Moigi come think up. Nothing could have surprised him more than hearing them cry. In confusion, he looked at them, seeing their expressions filled with concern, sorrow, and confusion, but not ounce of hatred or fear. Why aren't you girls shouting and calling me a monster and trying to kill me? Hinata kissed his cheek. Why would I do such a thing to my Naruto-kun? If anything, I should do that to myself for not telling you about me sooner. Boss, you saved my life once and cried over my mom's murder. No monster would do that, Moegi told him. Sakura nodded. Naruto, if you were Kyuubi, there's no way you'd let me hit you all those times. If you were, I'd probably be dead by now. That alone proves to me you're not the fox. Naruto was wide-eyed and frozen, his mind having a hard time processing this. Then suddenly he moved, and quickly broke free of their holds and backed against a tree, looking at them like he was frightened. Naruto-kun? Naruto? Boss? The three girls tried to approach, but he held up his arms defensively, and shielded his face, making them stop. Ayame approached and gently pulled Naruto into a comforting hug, which he didn't reject but didn't relax from either. Girls, it's alright. This isn't personal. You just need to know that Naruto is just so used to rejection that he has a hard time handling a situation where he's accepted. You scared him because that's not what he was prepared for. Is Naruto so traumatized that he expects even his friends to want him dead? Sakura asked, feeling her heart ache more for the whiskered blonde. I can't imagine how much this hurts Hinata. Ayame nodded. When Naruto tries to be nice to people, they either ignore him or try to kill him. When he tried to be nice to his classmates, they either gave him the silent treatment or insults. Even when he was put on a team, they were quick to single him out, and when he went to see the Godame, she demeaned him and his dream too. Naruto has basically become conditioned to believe that everyone's first response to him is hatred or indifference, so when you three weren't that when he expected it the most, he didn't know what to think and got scared. How do you know all this? Sakura asked. A quick glance showed Hinata crying a river and Moegi wiping her eyes. Sakura felt her own cheeks and found her own tears were starting to get heavier too. I'm someone Naruto knows he can trust. He tells me quite a lot about what he goes through. He's learned to feel safe and comfortable around me, and you three are going to have to do the same with him. Hold on, what do you mean you three? Sakura asked. Don't you trust us anymore, Naruto? I don't know what to think anymore, he quietly said, looking at no one. Hinata came up to him and sat down in front of him, holding his face so he couldn't look away. Naruto-kun, I want you to do something right now. I want you to remember your promise to me to beat Nijio Naizen. I want you to remember when you saw me in the hospital while I recovered. I want you to remember our talk before you went to the Chunin exam finals. I want you to remember the day you decided to give me chance. She paused for a moment, and drew him into a kiss much like when she found him at the Valley of the End. Now, do you feel like I'm wrong for not hating you? Hinata-chan, Naruto softly said, then got out of Ayame's embrace and hugged the Hyuga heiress tightly, as if afraid she'd disappear if he let go. Ayame smiled at the scene, then quietly got up and came to the other two girls. Here's my advice, you two, give Naruto time to come to terms with your friendship with him, and do what you can to let him know you don't hate him. It likely won't take that long, but don't expect it to be quick. I don't know exactly how those two got together, but I'd bet my life savings it didn't happen by simply asking, will you go out with me? Understand? Sakura and Moegi nodded. Sakura looked at the young couple and saw Naruto looked more relaxed, making her smile softly for him. Hey Hinata, Naruto, while we have time, could you tell us what exactly brought you two together? Ayame smirked. Smart move, girl. Give Naruto something positive to think about and he'll get out of his funk quicker. Naruto didn't look that talkative, but he did look at his pink-haired teammate. Well, in a way, I guess it started when I visited Hinata-chan in the hospital during the month before the finals. I didn't train 24/7, so sometimes when I had free time, I went to see her and get more inspiration for kicking Niji's ass. We chatted and got to know each other a little more, but we didn't start acting like this until after now. He cut himself off. After what? Sakura curiously asked. Naruto sighed and broke eye contact with the pinkette. After I brought Bachan back to heal Sasuke. He sounded so hurt remembering that. Why? Sakura asked herself. Go on. Hinata spoke next. That day, I found Naruto-kun at that bridge your team always met at, just staring into the water, looking so forlorn. Flashback. Na Naruto-kun? Hinata said as she cautiously approached the young man. He turned to her and smiled. Hi Hinata-chan. Hinata could immediately tell his heart wasn't in his greeting. What's wrong? You brought the next Hokage here and thanks to her those injured from the invasion are getting better treatment. Konoha can get stronger, and it's all thanks to you. Why are you so unhappy? Naruto sighed and looked away. Hinata-chan, you're the only person who's actually thanked me for doing this. What? He nodded. It's true. No one's even said so much as thank you to me for what I did. The old lady didn't even want to look at Konoha, and even though she told me I helped her change her mind when I saved her from Orochimaru, she never actually thanked me for doing it. Sure, she gave me this necklace, but she never actually said the words. Ero-sanin and Shizen didn't either. Heck, I thought at least Sakura would thank me for bringing the only person who could heal Sasuke to him, and she didn't even look at me. Hinata gasped but let Naruto continue. What will it take? What do I have to do before someone finally acknowledges it? I protect my team on missions, but I only get insulted. I make us pass the first test of the Chunin exams, and I'm called an idiot. I save her life from the sand user, and the only person she or anyone else give credit or thanks to is the team. And now, I brought the world's best medic to Konoha to heal everyone, and no one even says good job Naruto. Hinata put her arm around him. I thank you Naruto-kun. I know it's not much, but I am grateful for what you do for us all. Naruto tensed, but he didn't ask her to let go so she didn't. I'm sorry Sakura isn't. Naruto sighed. I don't think I can take it anymore Hinata-chan. I think this may have been the last straw for me. If me saving her life and Sasuke's too won't get her to at least give me a little respect, what will? I have no idea, and I think I'm tired of trying. Do you think I should? That was a tough question for Hinata to answer. Naruto-kun, I can't tell you what path to take in life. Only you can do that. I just want you to be happy. If you feel you need Sakura to be happy, then I will support your choice. But if you're having doubts about that, then maybe you should consider alternatives instead. Like maybe trying to have someone else be my girlfriend? Naruto asked, and Hinata nodded. Maybe you're right. Maybe I should. He then looked at the Hyuga heiress. Hinata-chan, would you like to go get ramen with me? She blushed, and placed her hand over his. Naruto-kun, as much as I want to say yes, I have to say no right now. Listen first. I do want to say yes, but right now you're hurt and grasping for straws. Take some time to think it over please. Then if you really do want to try something with me, ask again when you know you're not just trying to replace Sakura. Naruto slowly nodded. I'm sorry if I offended you. Hinata wrapped her arms around his waist. You didn't. I understand why you asked. The problem is I want you to ask because you want me, not because you can't have your first choice. End flashback. After that we had to go to tea country so I had plenty of time to think things over. Naruto said to Sakura. When Sasuke had to be treated again and you went off on your own, I found Hinata and told her I thought over things and decided that I did want to see what would happen if we tried to be couple. That time she accepted. Sakura was silent for a moment, but smiled. Looks like it was a good decision for you too. I can only hope so, Naruto said, but he now looked like he was feeling better. Naruto, did I really hurt you that much? Sakura asked. Naruto struggled to phrase it right. Sakura, I'm not going to lie. Yes, you did. I could handle the hits and the insults because they actually weren't the worst I've gotten, but every time you ignored me, that I couldn't handle. It got harder to handle it when we were on a team and you wouldn't even hold a conversation with me. But when I brought Bachan to save Sasuke and you hugged him so lovingly while never saying one grateful word to me before or since, I realized I just couldn't take it anymore. I spent 13 years being unloved, enough was enough. Sakura scooted forward until she was right in front of her blonde teammate. She reached over and wiped a tear from his eye. Naruto, I'm so sorry. I was an idiot, in more ways than one, and I'm not going to ask you to forgive me because I know you can't just yet. But there's something I need to tell you. What's that? The reason I'm here with you rather than with Sasuke now. And why I don't plan on ever being with him again. Well, here we are. Sea country, where no one should think to look for us first. Tsunade told her company as they looked at the ocean. Technically they were still within Land of Fire, but the island for sea country could be seen on the horizon. But that doesn't mean trackers or hunter neem can't find us here, so we shouldn't stay long. Shizen pointed out. Tsunade nodded. True. That's why we're going to rest and plan out our strategy here before creating a few false leads to distract any followers from our real goal. Which is? Sakura asked. I'll tell you tonight when we're somewhere private. Let's look for a hotel and get some much needed R&R. Don't get too comfy. We still have to treat her, you know, Kushina said, signaling to the still sedated Tayuya. After how she reacted last time, maybe it would be better to just let her die in her sleep, Tsunade said, remembering what happened when they tried healing Tayuya. Flashback. Kushina laid down the redhead she found on her way to Konoha. While we're giving my son some time to come to terms with everything, could we work on getting her stabilized? Considering she's connected to the enemy, I've got mixed feelings on that, Tsunade said. However, I suppose we can't simply ignore our Hippocratic oath. And she could provide useful intel. She knelt down. Shizen and I will at least allow her to talk. After that, her behavior and cooperation will prove how far our hospitality will extend. Kushina nodded. I understand completely. The two medics got on both sides of the unconscious Kunoichi and readied a diagnostic jutsu. There's a lot of damage done to her lower body. I'd say she's probably paralyzed and will never walk again without neuro-focused medical jutsu. And it looks like there's been a good amount of internal bleeding. By all logic, this woman should be dead by now. How on earth have you kept her alive all this time? I placed her in a state of suspended animation. But if she stays in it too long, she will die for real. It only delays death, it doesn't fix anything. That part someone else has to do, and sadly I never learned how to heal. Kushina explained. You better wake her up then. That way what you did won't risk compromising what I'll do. Medic jutsus work best when a second jutsu isn't already in use, Tsunade said. Kushina nodded and put the tip of her index finger on Tayuya's forehead. Heirloom. The comatose Kunoichi lightly stirred, just as if she was waking up from a nap. But suddenly she winced and grimaced as if in great pain. She opened her eyes and roared out in pain, sounding like she was giving birth and passing a kidney stone at the same time. Then she started flailing around. Restrain her, Tsunade ordered, and Shizen and Kushina grabbed an arm each to hold her down. Tayuya struggled against them both and flailed the rest of her too, though her legs didn't move as freely as the rest of her did. If anything, every time she kicked at nothing, the sound of bones breaking could be heard, making her scream even more. Tuksu, Kushina said, and next thing everyone knew Tayuya was frozen solid. There, now ready whatever you're going to do and I'll unfreeze her. But you better do it fast, this method doesn't last long and isn't ceasing her pain. Tsunade nodded rather than ask questions. I'm going to start by soothing the nerve endings in her legs and numbing her muscles. Her lower body has the worst damage, so it's likely that's what's causing her agony. Tsunade-sama, look, Shizen said, catching her mentor's attention. Despite her frozen state, Tayuya was activating her curse mark. Tsuk, Kushina immediately said as she touched Tayuya's forehead again. The flutist became unfrozen but slumped on the ground, as if forced to sleep. Her curse markings began to recede. She did that too when I found her, and I didn't like the look of it. What's going on? Sakura asked as she and the others came back to the clearing they all stopped in. We tried treating this woman, but apparently she's in quite a lot of pain. We may have to wait until we can find a hospital, or at least somewhere indoors, before we can do anything more for her, Tsunade answered. She sounded like she was dying, Naruto commented. She probably is. She's got a great deal of internal damage, so she probably feels like she's been stepped on like a bug. If we can't heal her, the best we can do is take care of her pain as she passes on, Shizen told him. End flashback. I know it might be less painful to let her die, but the information she has could help us out quite a bit, Shizen added. Would she even provide it? Naruto asked. Hard to say. The odds aren't in our favor, but we can be persuasive if we have to be, the slug Sannin told him. Now let's get a boat and head for the island. Best place to go right now. A quick trip to a marina with a payment, and they were out on the sea. The words of the boat provider bothered them though. Be careful how far you venture. Plenty of people lately have been seeing something weird in the water. Naturally, the ninja were undaunted, but they did keep the warning in mind. What do you think that guy meant? Naruto couldn't help but ask. Probably just a shark or something, I casually answered. I wouldn't give it much thought. There have been tales of sea monsters as long as people have been aware of the ocean. A few moments of silence before Naruto spoke up again. I think I saw some kind of shadow move in the water. Hinata activated her Byakugan to settle his concern. I don't see anything down wait. All attention was on her now. There is something strange down there. Something human-sized. Okay everyone, be on your guard just in case. Hinata, keep an eye on it. Tsunade ordered. Everyone got some kunais in their hands, even Moegi courtesy of Naruto, and waited while the boat continued forward. Hinata kept trying to see the apparition underwater, which moved around enough to be difficult for her to focus on. It's hard to see, but it appears to only be observing us. Maybe it's trying to decide if we're food or a threat. Let's not provoke it then, Kushina said. Nothing happened, but it wasn't until Hinata next spoke they relaxed. It's gone out of my range. I guess it lost interest. 5 more uneventful minutes passed until they reached the shore of sea country right by a seaside town. There was no dock, so they had to come to shore directly, and without an anchor or something to tie the boat to, Tsunade had to use her strength to pull the boat away from the water so the tide wouldn't take it away later, leaving them stranded. So what are we doing here again? Sakura asked. We're going to find some place to treat our captive, get as many supplies as we can, decide our next destination, and get some answers. Tsunade told the Pinkette, giving Kushina a brief glance when she said the last part. I'll tell you everything, but I also want to know why you all had to leave Konoha and what your plan for being away is. The Uzumaki matriarch told the slug Sanin. I'll tell that too, but first let's find shelter. Excuse me? A stranger's voice called out. Everyone turned to a small alcove dune, and from behind it a girl's head stuck out. She had short purple hair that looked like she cut it herself, though 2 locks were long enough to frame her face. Her face also had medical wrap across her forehead and under her left eye, making her almost look like a danza wannabe if it weren't for the fact her eyes and smile radiated warmth. Yes? Kushina asked. If you need shelter, I know where you can find some. And who are you exactly? Tsunade asked. Nobody important, just a simple diver who lives in the area. My name's Isaribi. A diver? Naruto asked, unaware anyone could do such a thing for a living. Isaribi nodded. Yeah, I dive and gather things like lobsters, oysters, coral, and occasionally wreckage that still has value. Not always easy or profitable, but I love my work. Are you in need of treatment as well? Tsunade asked, eyeing the bandages. Isaribi shook her head. No thank you. I've already been treated. What happened? Sakura asked. I ran into some jellyfish on my last dive. I'm fine now, but my skin's still a little sensitive. I'd better take a look at it then. Jellyfish stings often have residual damage, Tsunade said. Isaribi looked nervous. No, really, I'm fine. Please, if you're offering us help, the least I can do is return the favor. The purple-haired bandaged girl then ran off. What was that about? Naruto asked. There's something suspicious about her. She was afraid of me inspecting her body. My guess is jellyfish weren't really the cause of her trouble. The slug Sanin thought out loud. But for now, let's focus more on our own group. An hour later the Konoha refugees had found a hotel in the town. Kushina, Tsunade, and Shizen were in the room tending to Tayuya while Naruto, Hinata, Sakura, Ayam, and Moegi were at the beach killing time. None of them had brought swimsuits, so none tried to go swimming. Tayuya had thrashed, screamed, and fought back during her treatment, and if not for a sound barrier in place it was likely the local authorities would have shown up. But finally, she stopped and passed out, her pain relieved. Tsunade wiped her forehead with her forearm. There. She's out of danger and can in time be fully recovered. I patched her up enough to talk but not walk or use her chakra effectively. For now, when we question her, she will only be able to answer or stay silent, nothing else. What was that you used on her, Kushina? Shizen asked, having never gotten around to asking that the other night. Mana spells. Think of it like jutsu but requiring incantations instead of hand signs, and it uses mana instead of chakra. What exactly is mana? Tsunade asked. The best way I can describe it to you is it's an energy like chakra but not identical. Like chakra, it's based on physical and spiritual power and can have elemental attributes. Unlike chakra, it's more focused on the spiritual part, so its strength is determined and tied to one's willpower over physical strength, so being fit like a ninja is not required to wield it. Also, it does not act the same way elementally. A person's mana can only be used one way elementally, or neutrally for non-elemental spells, so unlike chakra, which has a single affinity but doesn't limit a person to just that one element, mana does. So you can use mana and chakra together? Tsunade asked. I used to be able to, long ago. Now I can't. Now I'm limited to just mana. All jutsu I used to know are useless. Why are you limited? Tsunade asked. I had access to a chakra source when I was younger. Messed up a lot about my growth and development as a succubus, but it allowed me to use chakra. Until it was removed and I was stuck using mana only again. For a brief time there was some residual chakra in me, but I used it all up in the QB resealing. Kushina answered. Wait a minute, resealing? What do you mean by that? Tsunade asked. Where do you think the QB was before it appeared in Konoha that day? Kushina asked back. Tsunade shrugged. I never thought about it. I didn't know it had been sealed in my grandmother one time, but I was never told where it went after that. I thought it was restrained in some sort of sacred object for a time. My grandfather's necklace couldn't have been the only special item he had after all. My granduncle had a special sword too. I figured there was some special object the Senju owned that contained the QB until the day it escaped. The Ichibi was rumored to be contained in an iron tea kettle for a time, so it made sense to me. The redhead sighed. Tsunade, the QB was sealed in another person after Mito-sama but before Naruto. That person was me. Tsunade was wide-eyed. You? Shizen was equally surprised. Why? Because Mito-sama had faith in me being able to contain the fox and not be influenced by it. I asked her not to, because I wasn't so sure I could handle it, but she told me I had a loving heart and love was the best way to keep the QB contained. Something about that stuck with me and I ended up becoming the second Jinchuriki of the QB. Tsunade was momentarily silent. Why wasn't I told this? Did you ever ask? Tsunade thought it over. No, I guess I didn't. As long as there was no threat, I didn't ask why. But why couldn't you have told me? I heard stories of Jinchurikis getting hostile treatment in their own villages. Some better than others, but usually friendless. Why would I go announcing that I was one? Kushina asked. Shizen nodded. Don't forget, Tsunade-sama, you criticized the Sandaime for telling the public about Naruto being one, so how can you be upset for Kushina preferring her secret remain a secret? The slug Sannin sighed. You're right. But if you're a succubus, how could you even contain the QB? I guess the sealing was done really well. Or maybe my mana countered its chakra. My mana was mistaken for a special anti-Biju chakra after all, so maybe they were partially right. I don't know, but all I wish is it was strong enough to prevent the fox from escaping while I gave birth. Kushina said with a sad sigh. At least while I did have the fox in me, I was able to use chakra successfully, but I haven't been able to since it escaped. The bad news is the fox's chakra screwed up my natural growth. I grew up like a human rather than a succubus normally does, and apparently I didn't need to orgasm to regulate my powers like normal succubi do. I didn't even realize this was unusual since I was raised by the Uzumaki clan more than the succubi race. How did you even come in contact with the Uzumakis if you came from a different world? Shizen asked. It was mostly chance. My dying caretaker was taking me away from a revolution, and we went here to Midgard to escape. She didn't make it, killed in Yggdrasil, so I was left here alone with no idea how to get back to Alfheim. I was really young at the time, and the Uzumaki were fleeing the destruction of Uzushio at the time, and in the confusion I was mistaken for a member. With nowhere else to go, I didn't bother correcting them. I just waited until the fight ended and someone would come back for me. Kushina then sarcastically laughed. How ironic. As a kid all I wanted was to go home and fit in here until I did. It wasn't until I decided this was my home that I was brought back to Alfheim against my will, and without my family. The fates have a sick sense of humor. Why did you have to leave this other world? Tsunade asked. Kushina looked down, avoiding eye contact by focusing more on the sleeping Tayuya. I'd rather tell that to my son first if you don't mind. It's part of the reason why I was taken away from him too. The sun sure feels nice, Sakura said, lying on her back, her arms folded above her head. Too bad this isn't a vacation. I hope we can go swimming while we're here, Moegi commented. Can we go get some swimsuits, boss? Does anyone here have money? Naruto asked, not sounding like his heart was in the subject. I do, but I'd rather save it for an emergency, Sakura answered. I only have what's left of my last mission pay on me, Hinata added. I've got plenty, and I suppose I could spare a little for some fun while we're out and about, Ayam said. I just don't know where to shop. Sakura got on her feet. Let's go ask someone. Naruto sighed. Why not? No one asked about his mood. They knew he was trying to act like he was back to normal, but he was still coming to terms with everything he learned. The identity of his father. The fact that the Sandaime had to yield on his safety a few times. His lack for a better term demonic mother, and his own apparent demonic nature which had nothing to do with the QB. And that was only the stuff he had already learned. There was bound to be more he had yet to be told. At least now he had been able to apply a henge to hide his tail so he didn't feel like a sideshow freak on display. The group walked down the beach trying to find someone, Hinata having her arm wrapped around Naruto's and her head resting on his shoulder. Sakura sent them a friendly smile, but she couldn't help feeling slightly jealous. "Go away!" a girl's voice shouted, drawing their attention. Up ahead they saw a girl being chased by a trio close to her own age it seemed, and they were throwing rocks at her. "Freak! Ugly! Hobo!" Naruto got flashbacks to his own youth at hearing and seeing this, and his blood began to boil. Hinata could feel him tense and get angry and let go so he could react as he wanted. In no time Naruto ran forward. The bullied girl fell onto the sand and her harassers didn't stop stoning her. They even started kicking her. Before someone could try something new, Naruto and many clones had grabbed a hold of them all. "What gives?" Naruto glared. "I should ask the same thing. Is there a reason you're doing this? Or are you just picking on someone who won't fight back?" Out of the corner of his eyes he saw his friends run up to help him. "Why do you care for this human garbage?" one of the bullies asked. "You've got 3 seconds to give me an answer instead of a question," Naruto demanded. 1. "She's an eyesore to our town. We have a duty and a right to get rid of her," a different bully stated like he was fighting for a righteous cause. "Funny. People say the same about me back home. But even I have friends." "So what?" the third bully asked. Hinata struck one from behind with her juken, making him unable to stand. Sakura hit the second one on the head, making him skid across the sand and pass out. Ayam simply kicked the third bully between the legs from behind, making him fall to his knees screaming in a high octave. "That's so what?" Naruto said with a hint of a laugh. He then turned to face the victim. "You're okay, no wait. You're that diver girl from before." Isaribi blinked. "What do you want?" "Looks like she's waking up," Shizen said as she noticed Taiya display signs of regaining consciousness. Her eyelids fluttered a few times without actually opening and her rate of breathing seemed to be controlled now rather than unconsciously steady. The redhead finally opened her eyes completely, though they were unfocused. When they did focus and she saw 3 strange women above her, her reflexes told her to create some distance. Too bad her body told her it couldn't even sit up under its own power, and her throat wasn't in any mood to work either. One of the women around her was also a redhead, and she gently placed her right hand on Taiya's throat. New Dejuf. Instantly Taiya felt her throat relax and return to a state of normal. She was thirsty as well, but now she could speak. "Water." Tsunade held up a glass of water and gently held it to the Oto Kunoichi's lips. Normally Taiya wouldn't be caught dead drinking like this, but her arms could barely be lifted and she was too thirsty to resist for more than 2 seconds. The coolness of the cold clear liquid going down her esophagus was like a divine blessing to her thirst. "Feel better?" Kushina asked. "Somewhat. Now who the fuck are you and where the hell am I?" "We're the ones who saved your life and you're in our custody. If you want to be able to walk again you'll cooperate, and if you'd rather be stubborn we'll find out how well you can swim in this state," Tsunade replied. Taiya rolled her eyes. "If that's your idea of a fucking ultimatum you're dumber than what people give blondes credit for." Tsunade frowned and cracked her knuckles. "And if that's your idea of gratitude then you must be suicidal." "Why should I be fucking grateful? You only saved me because you bitches want something from me, and if you get it I'm just going to be useless crap to you and you'll get rid of me without a second thought," Taiya calmly answered with closed eyes, as if trying to relax. "Considering who you're connected to would you honestly expect anything else?" Tsunade asked. "I'll give you that much, but can you say I'm wrong?" "I might, provided you convince me appropriately," Kushina answered, making the other women curious and confused. "What do you mean?" Shizen asked. Kushina just kept her gaze on Taiya. "Miss, so I don't call you something you don't like, could you tell me your name?" The downed Kunoichi just stared blinking a few times, when sneered. "My name's none of your fucking business." Kushina smiled. "Hobusu Jamidi Andruda." "What?" Taiya asked, not understanding a word. At the same time she felt a weird tingle over her skin, sort of like a full-body feather caress. "What did you say? You better not have done anything to me, you bitch." "No need for vulgarity here. Now, do you like working for Orochimaru?" No one really likes working for him. Maybe a couple do, but anyone that depraved would also be the type of person to backstab the bastard when it looked like they could succeed. Tayuya responded. Do you want to go back to him? Would you? That's not what I asked, Kushina said. Tayuya sighed. Not that I believe you give a damn, but it's not like I have anywhere else to go if I could walk. Oto's the kind of place only a sadist would enjoy being in, and while I occasionally had some fun, I saw things that would make your hair turn white. And I've seen things that would make your hair fall out, Kushina countered calmly. But your point is that you wish not to go back? Tayuya mock laughed. While I'm at it, why don't I wish my sister was still alive and it rained chocolate? No need to be so crass to us. I'm just trying to understand you better, Kushina told her. Why would you want to understand me? Tayuya asked. Because I don't believe in treating someone as an enemy by association. You're connected to Orochimaru, but you're not Orochimaru, so we should not treat you like you are. I wish to know if you're a sympathizer to him, or a mere subject, so I know what we should do about you. Also, you remind me of someone I lost, so I can't just disregard you. Needless to say, Tayuya was quite surprised to hear this, but that didn't mean she believed it. So what the fuck does that mean? My whole life since I was taken that snake, people have always regarded me with absolutes and black and white views, so why the fuck should I believe you? I'd have to be dumber than a sack of shit to believe you just because you say you're not like that. Kushina leaned closer, narrowed her eyes, and spoke like her words were tempered steel. Because we're your only chance for being able to walk, let alone live again, and I'm sure even a foul-mouthed slut such as yourself values her pathetic life. Now, unless you want me to give new meaning to the term titted fuck by ripping off your tits and shoving them up your and then start getting nasty, I suggest you learn to play nice. Holy hell! Tsunade and Shizen thought, slightly backing away in panic. Where did that come from? Tsunade asked. Kushina smiled sweetly at the blonde Hokage, but it didn't look friendly. When you want to get a message across, you've got to speak in terms they understand. Tayuya paled too, but then plastered on a fake confident grin. Do your worse. Oh, that was the wrong thing to say. Isaribi had put up a bit of a struggle when Naruto insisted on bringing her to Tsunade, but she was outnumbered and overpowered, so they were bringing her to the medic. The weird thing is, once they got there, they saw Tsunade and Shizen sitting outside the hotel room both sipping sake. The windows and door were closed and covered, so it was impossible to see what was going on. Hey Bachan, why aren't you inside with the other woman? Naruto asked. Oh, your mother is handling her for now. She's a stubborn patient, so Kushina needs to wear her down a bit first before we can do anything. Tsunade answered, just before the sound of something breaking in the room could be heard. Tsunade-sama, maybe we should intervene and stop this. If you want to, be my guest, Shizen, Tsunade told her. As she expected, Shizen did not move. Concerned, Hinata activated her Byakugan. I don't see any fighting, but I do see some broken glass over the floor. Kushina-san is showing off her wings and tail, and the other woman looks scared. There's a woman with wings in there? Isaribi asked. And who's this? Tsunade asked. Wait, aren't you that diver girl with the jellyfish story? Yeah, it's her. We saw her being attacked, and she's having a hard time moving. Can you treat her? Sakura asked. Tsunade put down her sake bottle. Sure. Gotta pass the time somehow. Isaribi gave her a pleading look. Please don't. Just leave me alone. Your wounds aren't from jellyfish, are they? Tsunade asked. Tearfully and frightened, Isaribi could only nod. A person gave you whatever you're covering up, right? Isaribi just looked away. Yes, but it's not what you think. Many girls say that when they're in trouble, and no offense, but you have domestic violence victim written all over you. I wish it was that simple. The purple-haired girl whispered to herself, but those close to her still heard it. I suddenly did a few hand signs. Forced sleep jutsu. She then touched Isaribi's forehead and the diver was knocked unconscious. She'll only be out for about 10 minutes max, likely less, so Tsunade-sama, if you want to see what's wrong with her, I'd do it fast. The medic nodded and had Isaribi set down on a mat so sand and dirt wouldn't get in the way, then peeled back the bandages on her left arm. Once they were loose and the skin exposed, she gasped and dropped the loose wrappings. What is this? Everyone curiously looked at the exposed arm, and gasped too at what they saw. Green scales in place of human skin. Could that be normal for her? Naruto asked. I saw a guy from Kiri with blue skin who looked like a human and shark combined. Maybe she's similar. If that were true, it's likely all her skin would be this way. No, instead I think this condition was forced onto her, Tsunade said, checking the other bandaged areas. Sure enough, there were more scales all over her in random places. And look at this. She pointed to the border because the normal skin and green scales, where there were light red blotches. That's scar tissue, classic sign of skin grafts. Someone's basically taking this girl's skin off and replacing it medically with new animalistic skin. Oh, that's disgusting, Moegi said. Tsunade nodded. And what's worse is the body can easily reject the new skin, making it eventually peel off and leave her more vulnerable to infection and copious bleeding. In order for me to treat her, I'm going to need a hospital and donor skin. Here and now, there's barely anything I can do. Why would anyone do such a thing like this? Sakura asked. I don't know. This sounds like one of Orochimaru's. Tsunade stopped for a moment. This is too much like something Orochimaru would do to be coincidental. Either he has a lab here, or there's some other sick, twisted bastard here trying to turn people into something. Hinata, please see if there's any internal change to this girl. Hinata nodded and activated her Byakugan again. I don't see anything wrong with her muscles, though her bones look different. Like there's more cartilage in them than there should be. The interior of her lungs look unusual to me, like they're a bit underdeveloped, and there's something that looks like 2 bumps on the sides of her trachea in her neck. Also, the outer layer of her chakra network looks larger than normal but not as large as Naruto-kun's, and I think I see some kind of chemical in her bloodstream. Tsunade struggled to remain calm. Okay, I originally brought us here to give us some time to plan ahead the rest of our trip, but while we're here, we should find out what's going on with this poor girl. No one argued. The door to the room opened and a normal yet worn-out Kushina looked out. Well, I'm done. She's ready to cooperate. I swear when my legs works, the first thing I'm going to do is kick your ass until your legs don't work instead. Taiyuya could be heard saying. That's ready to cooperate? Shizen asked. Surprisingly, yes. Kushina said, then noticed the unconscious girl. Who's that? An unfortunate victim of something unnatural, Tsunade answered. While we're here, we should look into it. This is inhumane, and too much like Orochimaru's type of work. Well, lucky for us, we have someone connected to Orochimaru himself to confirm if he's involved. Oh right. Let's see if Miss Foulmouth really is ready to talk, Tsunade said as she got up. Bring her in too. The others carefully brought Isaribi in and placed her on one of the beds. While not able to sit up or move much under her own power, Taiyuya could see they brought in another girl. Another one? What's with your group and abducting helpless women? Boy here got a fetish? Naruto frowned at her. I don't know what that is, but I'm assuming it's gross. Depends on the nature of the fetish. Kushina commented to herself, then recomposed herself. Tell me, does Orochimaru have any operations in this country? Taiyuya looked up. Remind me where we are again. See country. The Odo Kunoichi looked like she was trying to recall something. Rings a bell, but nothing specific. We've got a girl here suffering from unnatural skin grafts. Does that jog your memory? Tsunade asked. I've seen worse. But still no. Sakura frowned. You could at least sound like you're empathetic to her. Taiyuya leaned up to glare at the pinkette. Well, sorry for not crying over every tragedy I hear about, Pinky. I've been through quite a few myself, so don't expect me to cry a fucking river over some skin injury. Angry, Tsunade showed the defiant woman the scales on Isaribi's arm. Does this look like some skin injury to you? Looks bad, but I still don't see the big deal. Have you no heart? Hinata asked. My heart took a big hit the day my family was killed on our pilgrimage to Konoha, and it finally died the day my sister was killed and Orochimaru took my burned body to Oto and branded me with his slave seal, Taiyuya said as she leaned back on the floor, her crossed arms behind her head. Naruto looked confused. You were once part of Konoha? When? When I was a kid. My family was nearly wiped out when our original village was wiped out, and what remained immigrated to Konoha. My father, sister, and I lived there for a few years, but they died in a fire and Orochimaru got me out of it and took me away. I've been stuck with him since. Kushina looked bothered, like she was recalling a bad memory. Your family immigrated into Konoha when you were a child? You hard of hearing? Tell me your name, please, Kushina kindly asked. The downed redhead looked up at the active redhead with confusion. Taiyuya. Kushina's eyes widened a bit. Taiyuya? Yaya-chan? The Oto Kunoichi's eyes were now even wider than her interrogator's. How do you know that stupid nickname? She then gasped. No way. It's impossible. Kushina-chan? You two are related? Naruto asked, the others as surprised as he was. Kushina and Tayuya ignored them in favor of seeing any hint the other was not who they thought they were. Only my sister called me Yaya-chan, and only she would know that nickname. I swear if you're an imposter. Tayuya was stopped by a sudden hug from Kushina. I thought you died. I thought the fire killed you like it did Ota-san. Kushina sobbed. I thought you died. I saw you on fire. That wasn't me. I was taken out by the Sandaime. I told him you and the others were still in there, but they only found charred and ashen bodies. You were declared dead when Orochimaru escaped. I cried for days. Me too. Tayuya surprised herself by hugging the other woman, and even crying a tiny bit. That bastard used the seal to make me his slave. I had to become a monster or die, and I was afraid to die, so I went along with it. Nei-chan, please forgive me. If you can forgive me for not being able to find you. I'm just glad to have more of my family back. You're an Uzumaki? Tsunade asked. Tayuya pulled away a little bit. Surnames have no purpose in Oto, so we never use them except for legal purposes, but yeah, my surname is Uzumaki. Orochimaru was determined to find a way to claim our Kekkai Genkai for himself, so he tried to abduct all of us in Konoha before he defected. I was the only one he succeeded in taking. The others died fighting him off the day he was forced to leave Konoha. Well, this certainly makes things more interesting. So, you willing to cooperate with us more now? Tsunade asked. Get this fucking seal off me and I'll strip for Blondie here, the flutist told her. Naruto blushed and Kushina shook her head. Emoto, Blondie there is my son. Son? Tayuya repeated, surprised. Well then I guess that makes me your aunt kid. In that case, please don't strip for me, Naruto told her, feeling bothered by the idea. You sure they're here? Ino asked. Shino nodded. My insect has traced Hinata's scent to this country and location. She is here, and inside this hotel. So what do you propose we do now? Tenten asked. I think I know what to do. Ino said I have a clear shot at one of them from here. I can get in there and hear what they're up to. I could send in one of my insects to observe, but I agree that your direct approach is better. Provided you keep your cover, Shino stated. I'm a natural Shino. Watch and learn. Mind transfer jutsu. Back in the hotel room, Tsunade and Shizen were going over Tayuya and Isaribi again, with Sakura and Hinata trying to help and learn what to do. Isaribi had regained consciousness but no longer struggled to get away from them, especially after Naruto showed her his new tail, making her no longer feel alone. Tayuya was surprised to hear about Kushina's true species. So all this time, Nei-chan, you've been a sex demon? And to think back when we were kids, I was called the pretty one. So are you two really sisters? Sakura asked. Not by blood, no. Her father took me in when the Uzumaki left Uzushio. We lived together until Orochimaru interfered. She's my sister and Naruto's aunt in name, not genetics. Kushina answered. I think I can try to get your seal off you, but since I don't have chakra anymore I may need someone else to actually do the job while I get it set up. But it will take some time to get it right since I'm a bit rusty on Fuinjutsu. Tayuya shrugged. You could have a retarded pervert lick it off for all I care. Just get it off. Well, I can't say for certain what can be done about the seal. My diagnostic of you two leads me to believe that treating you both could take years of recovery, Tsunade said. She first faced Isaribi. Without proper knowledge of what was done to you, I don't dare try to undo it and risk making it just get worse. And even if I did understand, getting the reversal procedure done right will not be accomplished overnight. Isaribi looked heartbroken, and Tsunade averted her gaze to Tayuya. Your case is similar to a boy I just treated back in Konoha, but the seal Orochimaru placed on you has left internal corrosive damage to your body and chakra network. So the rate of success is even less for you than it was for the boy with crushed bones and tendons. Trying to cure you would make the medic jutsu try to undo the corrosion, and your seal is likely to interpret that as a threat to itself and counteract or overpower any help I can do. Until that mark is sealed up good or removed, I don't think you'll be able to walk again. So we're stuck like this for who knows how long? Fuck, Tayuya said. Is there really no other option for them, Bachan? Naruto asked. Kushina cleared her throat. This may not be the best solution, but I do know of a way to heal them both that could work perfectly. All eyes were on her. What do you mean? Kushina refused to give anyone eye contact. It's sort of a kinjutsu that's being kept under wraps right now. It can return someone to perfect health. But it has a side effect. If done to them both, they will be the picture of health, but they'll be turned into succubi. What? You're joking, right? Moegi asked. Kushina shook her head. I wish I was. The thing I'm speaking of, it wasn't created with the best of intentions, and personally I'd rather see it destroyed. But if it can be put to good use, then I suppose it's only right that these two at least hear the offer. Everyone just stared at her wide-eyed, like they were all convinced they had misheard her. Tayuya was the first to respond. Well, if you think it's worth mentioning Nachan, I'll at least hear you out. Kushina settled herself, showing that the topic at hand wasn't exactly her favorite subject. Do any of you know of any jutsu designed to alter the physical shape of a ninja? You mean like a henge? Sakura asked. That's what I was thinking of, Kushina exclaimed, looking a little brighter now. I've been so busy I've forgotten a lot about jutsu over the years. It's kind of hard to remember them all when you little by little lose the ability to use them and have to focus learning on a substitute. Anyway, what I'm talking about is like a henge, only it causes a true transformation of the body on a cellular level. Even internal changes happen. A true transformation into a different species, but unlike a metamorphosis, it's not natural. That sounds amazing, Shizen said. Several in the room nodded in agreement. Is that really possible? Hinata asked. It is. But it's a very limited procedure, because it was designed to do one thing during a time when the creators were desperate for results. The Uzumaki matriarch answered. But long story short, this process can turn a human being into a succubus. Is that what happened to you, Mom? Naruto asked. Suddenly everyone else was wondering the same. Kushina shook her head. No, that's not what happened at all, son. I was this way since I was born, but I was a late bloomer as a succubus. A late bloomer succubus? Not to make fun of you or anything, but that sounds crazy, Tsunade said. Kushina nodded. I know. Normally succubi start and finish puberty when they're 11. I grew more like a human here, due to a certain influence. Mom? Naruto asked, catching her attention. You said you knew something that can turn a person into a demon. Do you know something that can do the opposite? Kushina said nothing, but her face showed she had something important to say. After a moment she sighed. Naruto, if you're asking me if I can stop your change to incubus, I can't. I'm sorry, but what you're asking for doesn't exist to my knowledge. Naruto looked down, looking so beaten. It's just I've been called a monster by everyone for as long as I can remember. Heck, for years I thought my name was Demon because that's what people kept calling me. I just don't want this to happen because it means they're right. Kushina left Tayuya's side to sit right in front of her son. Naruto, it does not mean that at all. Yes, it does, Naruto countered, still not looking at anyone. You just said I can never be human, and you've told me I never was to begin with. So of course they were right. I'm everything everyone said I was. Hinata immediately embraced Naruto from behind, but everyone could see she was lightly frowning. Naruto-kun, stop this. This is not you. The Naruto-kun I know doesn't let other people define his identity for him. If you did, wouldn't you have quit trying to be a ninja, let alone Hokage, a long time ago? This is different, Hinata-chan, Naruto told her. And exactly how is this different? She immediately asked. Because now what they said is true, he told her, still refusing to look at anyone. I'm not human, therefore I'm a monster. No, Naruto-kun, stop right there, Hinata forcefully said as she moved to be right in front of him. She even grabbed his chin, and he still tried to avoid looking at anyone, so she grabbed both sides of his face. Naruto-kun, look at me. If I mean anything to you, look at me right now. She insisted, and luckily he complied. What you're saying makes zero sense. Is Akamaru a monster? Are the toads you summon monsters? Are they? And no. The blonde made himself sing. Neither are you. They are not human beings, but they certainly are not monsters. And why is that? It's because they don't act like monsters. You're only a monster if you behave like one. And you, Naruto-kun, have never acted like a monster. Human or not, you are still my boyfriend. Promise me you will never call yourself a monster again. Promise me, Naruto-kun. Hinata-chan, I don't think it's that easy, he softly said. The next one to speak to him was I am. Naruto, try not to have such a black and white view on this. Think about it this way, Orochimaru is a human, but he's not exactly humane, is he? He's a real monster, and it's not because of claws or tails or even something like tentacles. It's because he enjoys making people suffer and causing destruction just for the hell of it. That's a monster, and like your girlfriend said, that's not you. And if that's not enough to convince you, I don't think anything we say can. The whiskered boy slowly looked at his girlfriend, his surrogate sister, his mother, then all the other girls in the room. They each waited curiously, waiting to hear his response. Hinata-chan, I am Nei-chan. It's not that I can't believe you, but I worry if I change like this, I won't be the same person anymore. Look at Sasuke. When he got that mark, he stopped being who he used to be. I don't think the mark is the only reason he acted like that, Naruto, Sakura told him. And even so, I don't think the mark created his bad behavior, but instead encouraged it. Kushina leaned closer to her distraught son. Son, I think I know something that might put your mind at ease on this. She saw he looked curious and hopeful. How about you see where I've been these past few years? See others like us and how they live. That should show you that you have nothing to be afraid of. Seriously? Naruto asked. Kushina nodded. Yes. You deserve it. And I'm sure the people there would love to see you too. Why? Kushina looked like she briefly didn't know how to best answer. Maybe you'll understand better once we actually get there. Would you like to see it, son? Only if we all get to go too, he insisted. Kushina nodded. I wouldn't have it any other way. Not to be rude, but didn't you say you had a way to return me to normal? Isaribi asked. Oh right, sorry, Kushina said, straightening up and looking at the bandaged girl. I'm not a healer, so maybe there are other ways than the one I described, but the only one that does come to mind is one that turns a human into a succubus. You would be the picture of health, at the cost of becoming a different species. Isaribi closed her eyes and shook her head. Thanks, but I'd rather not forsake my humanity like that. After what's been done to me, I'd rather not lose more of it. I'll just wait until Amachi-sama can cure me. Tsunade looked doubtful. Unless this person has some sort of miracle cure, such a process to undo that kind of damage will take years to complete. What exactly caused this to happen to you anyway? Isaribi looked at the wall, like she was trying to pretend the situation didn't exist. That story about the jellyfish, that wasn't exactly a lie. It did happen, but not recently, more like a year ago. I lost consciousness for a while and woke up in a private lab, run by a marine biologist named Amachi. He offered me the chance to recover free of charge, as long as I agreed to be a human guinea pig to experimental medicine for jellyfish venom. I was in a lot of pain and still dazed, so I agree. It worked, but you can see it had nasty side effects. Since then he's been trying to find a cure, as well as seeing what the extent of my change has been. The others looked shocked and sympathetic to her, Taiya less so, while Tsunade looked judgmental. I'm sorry to tell you this, miss, what was your name again? Isaribi. Isaribi, I'm sorry to say this, but something like this cannot be cured by a mere serum. From what I've seen, you underwent skin grafts. That requires more skin grafts to reverse, not medicine alone. Skin grafts? The diver asked, looking at the slug Sannin. That can't be. I never had any skin grafts. Were you ever given anything that made you unconscious by this man? Tsunade asked. Isaribi nodded. Yes. Sometimes my medication made me drowsy, but lots of stuff you can find in an everyday medicine cabinet does that. True, but he could have easily sedated you in order to perform these skin grafts and make you think they were a mere side effect of what he was giving you, which likely is what caused the internal change to your body. Also, don't you think it's weird that a marine biologist would know how to treat people like a doctor? Something seemed to click in the bandaged girl's mind. I didn't think of that before, but now that you mention it, then she shook her head. No, I can't believe that. Amachi-sama is my only chance for returning to normal. I have to believe he can. If I don't, what hope do I have left? Alright, we won't tell you what to do. But how about you let us see this man for ourselves? Just so we know he knows what he's doing. Shizen offered. Isaribi thought it over. I don't see why not. But can we do it tomorrow? Sure. Sounds acceptable. Hey, can we get some grub? I feel like I haven't eaten a fucking thing in a week, Tayuya stated. Kushina smiled at her sister. That's not that far from the truth, Imuto. After a few more moments, Ino returned to her own body. What did you find out? Shino asked. Something very strange is going on in that group. Either they've gone crazy or they know more than I could find out. We should hang around and keep watch without exposing ourselves until we can learn more. They're not doing anything illegal or threatening to Konoha, are they? Tenten asked. Not that she believed her idol Tsunade would be involved in such shady deals, but her professional side needed to rule out the possibility. Not that I saw, but what I did hear made no sense at all. I need to learn more, Ino said. All that talk about monsters and transforming in Naruto, and that woman that calls him her son. What is going on here? It would be wise to continue our observations until we learn something concrete then. Shino told the two kunoichi. I will leave an insect in the room that will rotate with another periodically in order to gather more intel. Tenten-san, do you have a means to listen in? Yes, but I'll need a distraction to get it properly set up. I can plant a listening device in their room, but I'd need them all to leave first. For now, we're better off using your method, Shino. Dinner passed and night came, and everyone was asleep. With no immediate threats to worry about, the entire group went to sleep and didn't bother assigning night watchmen. Isaribi and Tayuya were given the bed since they were the injured of the group, and everyone else got the floor. Tsunade and Shizen slept on the side of the room closest to the outside door in case someone did try to come in from there, while the rest slept on the other side where there was more room. Naruto seemed to be surrounded by girls right then. Hinata was curled up right next to him while Kushina was on his other side, just not as close to him as Hinata was. Moegi slept by Naruto's head for a sense of security, and Sakura slept by his feet, also finding herself longing for a sense of closeness to him. After over an hour of sleep, Isaribi carefully opened an eye and looked over the room. Fortunately, her experience being underwater so much enabled her to see fine in low-light situations. When she was certain no one else was awake, she moved as quietly as she could out of the bed. Tiptoeing her way around the others, she carefully made it to the front door and grasped the handle, giving her caretakers one last look. You're all nice people, even if the oddest bunch I've ever seen. But I can't risk angering Amachi-sama and being cut off from him. He's my only chance to be me again. I need to get back to him. At least this way you won't become new test subjects for him like I did. The diver felt a pang of guilt, for when she first saw the group reach sea country she had plans to bring them to Amachi. He said he needed other people to be brought to him for various experiments, all of which would help reach his goal. Not much of a technical person, Isaribi couldn't understand much of the jargon he used when asked and grew to stop asking. All he told her that she did understand was with others brought to him he'd be able to understand how to reverse the change before using anything directly on her. Last time he tried, she gained her Kaima form, and feared future experiments on her would make it impossible to be anything but a Kaima for the rest of her life. You showed mercy to me, I'll repay the favor by not subjecting you to Amachi-sama's work to save myself. Just please don't follow after me. She thought as she quietly turned the knob, opened the door, and walked out of the room. Fortunately for her, the hotel's night shift were not present in the hallway at this time, so she was able to walk undetected until she reached a door outside. As soon as she opened the door, she saw Kushina standing there. I think you took a wrong turn to the bathroom, she said, sounding like she was joking but knew full well what the purple-haired girl was really doing. What? But how? Kushina held up her right hand, and from right out of the palm a golden chain emerged and quickly wrapped itself around the girl. The chain separated from Kushina, but she held onto it like a leash. Then Tsunade and Ayam appeared beside her. Think she's being controlled? How do we tell for a guarantee? Kushina asked. Allow me, Ayam said before she formed a tiger sign and poked the spot where the nose separates from the forehead. Eject. Nothing happened. Good. She's not under the control of somebody else. A friend of mine was a Yamanaka, so I learned how to force out an outside influence like that. Okay, with that settled, tell us why in Kami's name you were sneaking out tonight. Tsunade insisted. How did you know I even was? You were all asleep, Isaribi asked. Experienced ninja like us are all light sleepers. And we suspected something amiss before dinner, so we were on our guard but chose not to show it. Gotta admit we didn't think you tried to do this, Ayam explained. Please let me go. I need this. It's my only chance, Isaribi pleaded. No, it isn't. We can help you. We can't guarantee it will be quick or painless, but we are a possibility. You're not limited to only one option, Tsunade told her. And what do you expect in return? Isaribi asked. For starters, we will want you to keep everything you know about us a secret. Beyond that, we can work something out, Kushina said. I know my son would enjoy more friends, but I can't insist you do that. That can only come naturally. Ayam gestured to Tsunade. Tsunade-sama, I think we have eavesdroppers nearby. I sense them as well, the Sannin whispered back. Kushina, take this girl back. We'll handle the others. The redhead nodded and took Isaribi back to their room while the other two disappeared. When Tsunade, Ayam, and Kushina left the hotel room through the back door, Shino, Ino, and Tenten immediately took cover, fearful they had somehow been found. At the same time they tried to follow the Kunoichi trio in case they had something else on their minds. Why would someone in their own group try to sneak away? Tenten whispered. From what I gathered, she's connected to some guy here that did something to her, and her life is basically in his hands. She was probably trying to get back to him, and they all were suspicious of that. Ino offered. Quiet. They're still out here, Shino warned. Where did they go? Ino asked, not seeing them or sensing them. Shino surprised them by